Hey, everybody, welcome to the Players Take episode 199. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. Montrell, how are you doing this week?
I'm okay. Hanging in there.
Hanging in there. My man is tired this week, everybody, so we will try to power through this episode. Um, yeah, things are good for me. Everything's fine. Christmas is coming. New Year's is coming, so looking forward to that. I am gonna host board games on New Year's Eve if you're interested, and you can bring your own booze, Montreal, if you want.
Okay.
Otherwise, things are good. So I say we just jump right in this week, Montreal. How's that sound?
Sir.
All right. So this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter at The Players Take, or you can send us an email to playerstake01@gmail.com, and we will answer it on the show. We love doing that. So let's just jump right in. Let's get down to business this week. We have a lot of news to cover from the Game Awards last week, so we'll start with what we've been playing. Montreal, you want to go first this week?
You can go first.
Okay. I've been playing mostly the same stuff. We'll start with League, I guess. So we've been playing League a decent amount, actually. I think what we had like 3 sessions maybe since we recorded last. And
Yeah.
um, starting to pick this up again, man. I got my head wrapped around the game much better than I think the last time we tried to do this, like a year ago.
Yeah.
Um, I'm starting to understand the items and the champions and kind of the whole meta of this game. I think you know, I feel like I've been playing pretty well. There's definitely things I need to figure out and like get better at. But I am seeing those things though. Like after games, I'm kind of thinking about, okay, what did I do wrong there? Like what could I have done to help us win more?
Yeah.
Um, but I think overall, I think I've been doing all right. Like especially the last couple sessions, I had a lot of good games in there. I think the farm side of things, I kind of have that down for the ADC role. Um, it's the team fighting and then like ward placement, things like that, that I gotta kind of start figuring out next, I think, and maybe start expanding my character roster a little bit. But I don't know. I'm having fun with it. I mean, what about you? Are you enjoying playing with us on your alt account?
Yeah. I'm playing primarily support, so it's actually a new experience for me. I mean, I used to play support just a little bit for Phil, but now that I'm kind of like maining it now, I
Mhm.
actually like it. Uh, I don't know. It's a really laid back role, but a lot impactful. I like seeing my assists rack up. I really don't care too much about kills or deaths.
Yeah,
Well, I try to let it mitigate the deaths, but I really don't care too much about kills and stuff like that. And I even get upset when I take a kill.
yeah,
So
yeah.
uh,
I think we're a pretty good team in bottom. Um,
yeah,
I think we kind of get each other pretty well, and like when you create an opportunity, I jump on it. I try to jump on it pretty quick.
yeah,
But there there's definitely like because we have a problem though. We only have 4 of us right now. Our fifth had his account banned, over a long hiatus, and Riot unbanned it, but he still couldn't play. He was like shadow banned still. He couldn't actually queue up, so we're stuck with 4, and like our fifths have been like
terrible.
pretty miserable for the most part, like really really bad. And we've had like maybe 1 or 2 that were like okay, that were decent.
Yeah,
But yeah, we've had so many fifth players like randos just ruin our games. Like they torpedo the game, or they feed, or fucking just quit because they're like mad or something like that. They don't even say shit in the chat. They just get angry and like start doing dumb shit. So that's the part of the game that it's like, I think if I was playing alone solo queuing, I don't know if I would I don't know if I would handle it very well. I think at this point I would play it like you've done in the past, where you just turn off chat, mute everybody, and
Yeah.
just mute pings and stuff. Like, because
It's it's
yeah,
it's actually interesting. I never seen it this bad,
hmm
and I think it's because we're in a party and we have a rando that's really exacerbated.
yeah,
So you see that one person that's not communicating well. I
yeah,
will say, sometime, not to say we're bad, but sometime we are bad.
yeah,
And I understand that fifth person's frustration because sometimes maybe top maybe feeding a lot.
yeah.
I know we're trying out new champions and stuff like that. And
hmm
in one game, in one instance where we won the game, I had to tell our friend not to pick a champion mid. He wanted to pick that champion mid. And I said, no, don't pick that champion
He
mid. I
made
want
an
to win
audible
one
like
game.
5 seconds before his pick was gonna run out.
Yeah. And
But
we actually
yeah,
won that game because I told him to
yeah,
pick like the correct champ or told him to pick one of his best champions
yeah,
that he
yeah,
plays a lot.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well,
so
I mean, so how do you think I'm doing overall? Like, I know I'm just playing Varus, so I'm not basically playing one character right now, but I'm trying to learn the main mechanics and meta and everything, items and all that stuff.
to be honest with you, I don't. Maybe I'm biased because I'm playing down there with you, but
hmm
even when you were down there by yourself, I left you. I felt comfortable in leaving you alone by yourself, and you
Yeah,
we did that last year too, where I left you alone by yourself. I did jungle. No one wanted to support you, and you actually were like holding the line by yourself down there with
yeah.
the support.
I think I'm doing better
Um,
now than I was last year, dude. I'm like double killing the teams
well, you
sometimes that
well
they're
you got like a quadra kill, I think, right? Didn't you get a quad? You
Bro,
got a quadra kill.
I got a triple kill where I was alone against 3 enemy teams. You guys were nowhere near me. And
Yeah,
I baited them into tower and I fucking rooted one guy, the tower killed him, and I fought the other two and killed them. I barely lived, but I did. I killed all 3 of them. So,
yeah. So
yeah.
so I say overall you're doing way better than the rest of the team. And then even when I know our fifth gets into play, I don't know how he's gonna do, but when I think I don't have to worry about him, Andy, as
Yeah.
much because we were playing Paragon,
Mhm.
and he was doing support like really well.
Mhm.
And he obviously we never played the game before, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just certain people have it, and certain people don't, I guess,
Yeah.
or take a little bit longer to get back started up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know we're playing for fun, but it's like I also want to win too. So
Yeah,
it's,
well, yeah, we're only winning like 1 game a night, and we're playing like 3 or
yeah,
4 every night. It is frustrating me because I think the thing with me for me is like I feel like I was especially our last 2 sessions, like I was playing really well. I was like 6 slotted every game,
yeah,
we were playing regardless of how long those games were going, and it like he's like I had like 20 kills one game. We still fucking lost. I was like
yeah,
20 and
yeah.
4 or some stupid shit like that, and we still lost.
Yep.
I think that was the one we got backdoored actually. So, um,
Yeah, I mean, but it was a game like that before you got online, and it was
yeah,
just me and the other two friends were playing, and I went like 25-7, and we still lost.
yeah,
And I was just like, I couldn't really save the game,
yeah,
um, because not because they were playing. I don't like saying off meta picks,
yeah,
and because I know you don't have to play like that, and I'm pretty sure you don't have to play like that in Dota. But there are some champions that are just objectively bad in lanes that
yeah,
you know. And I try to inform y'all like like well yeah I know they used to be this in season 5, but this is season 12 now, and they're objectively bad in this role. Like this is a troll
yeah,
pick at this point.
yeah,
Um, so I don't know. I try to, and I understand like our our teammates are learning the game and trying to learn different champions and stuff like that. So I don't really say too much. I actually be muting my mic sometimes. I'll be turning the fuck off. But
oh shit, that's funny, dude.
uh,
Yeah,
well, I love y'all so much, so I don't say
yeah,
nothing.
it's
Because
all good.
I know the game
I mean,
knowledge,
no,
and
you've been good because I'll be honest. Like, there have been times you pointed things out to all of us, and myself included, where I'm doing something and you were like, for instance, like in team fights, I was kind of standing still a little bit too much, and you pointed it
mm,
out to me, and I noticed it, and I'm like, okay, he's right. I need to start like kiting more, and I started doing
yeah,
it, and like I think you saw like a appreciable improvement. I wasn't the one dying in team fights when I started
yeah,
doing that. Like like I don't know if you were noticing that. Like the later games we
No,
were playing, like I was the
I did
one that
notice
was
that.
alive at the end. So.
I noticed that because you actually got a triple kill because you were standing still, but you got a triple kill,
Mhm.
and then one person was like chasing you down, and he killed you off of that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, Justin, I was like, just kite a little bit more, and I think you'll have it down packed. And then the next game, I think you almost got like a quadra kill, but you got you got 4 kills.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, yeah, I definitely noticed an improvement over that. And even when I give you little tidbits about like how to farm, and I'm like, oh, it's two tower shots and then a shot, and
Oh
or
yeah.
one tower shot
I
and a
got that
shot, and
shit
all this.
down, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Um.
I still fuck it up sometimes in little moments within like a 20 seconds or something in a lane, like a wave. I fuck a wave up.
Mhm.
It's happening a little bit, but I'm cleaning it up, and there's times where I'm like, dude, I'm getting every fucking last hit, and
Yeah.
it feels good. Whereas the other team, because I was pointing this out to you, like when we were playing one match, like people in our elo, like we're in low elo, like we're with the bad players, so we're not saying we're good, by the way. Like it's just we're with the bad players, so they're like auto attacking all the time for no reason
Yeah.
in lane.
Mhm.
Like they don't understand the lane equilibrium, so they push the lane up. And League is nice. Dota, this is harder. Pushing the lane in Dota is actually a little smarter because it's not as clean as it is in League. Like
Okay.
it's not a two tower shots and you kill the creep.
Yeah.
It can be 3 or 4, and depending on the character you're playing, you might not have enough damage to do it. It's much harder in Dota to like time that. So being under tower in Dota sucks. In League, I'm like almost happy I'm under tower. They can't push me. I just let the tower do the work. I almost don't want creeps to be there because if they're not, I'm gonna get every last hit, like for the most
Yeah.
part. So I kind of like that a little bit in League, and I'm definitely figuring that out. And I'm trying to learn when to roam, even though I'm not supposed to do it a ton. I'm trying to roam a little bit though when I see an opportunity to like
Yeah.
jump in and help you guys. So
I think the biggest thing we have to learn how to do is rotations.
yeah, yeah,
So it was one game where I told you guys I was like, "Hey, you go mid because I think the two towers are still up in mid, and I was like, you go mid, you go farm mid, and I told Jet to
hmm
go farm bottom. Oh no, his mid tower was pushed back,
yeah,
and I said you go farm mid, and then Jet you go farm bot lane because our two towers are still up in bot lane. That's a safe lane for him to farm and get big.
hmm
So he did that, and we actually survived the game because of that. I do appreciate having teammates that listen
yeah.
because I was kind of surprised myself. I ain't trying to toot my own horn, but my macro skills are like on point.
Yeah. No,
We were like,
you're kind of acting as captain.
yeah,
And I think it's working, especially in those late game situations, because that's the thing I don't have a great grasp on is where we should be at certain
hmm
times of the game, like or off of a team kill, like we wipe the enemy team. What do we do with that? Okay, we go take dragon, we go take baron, we take towers. Like what do we do? It's like
yeah,
that's the stuff that I think you're really helping us with. And I think if when we have a fifth, it's going to be better because we can fully coordinate, right? I think that
yeah.
fourth is dragging us down enough a lot of the time that it's like we can't like that fucking nocturne, dude, that we we fucking had.
That's exactly what I was thinking
Yeah,
about too.
that guy, like, dude, if he was just a little bit smarter, like we would have been dominating, you know.
Yeah, yep,
It's like he wasn't like playing terribly, to be honest. Like he was getting kills, he was creating opportunities, but it's just he became so like predictably predictable with it. It started to really drag us down in terms of
yeah.
where we could be on the map, because we were trying to make sure we didn't just let him go fucking kamikaze into the enemy team.
Well,
So
I think another thing too is like, you can get away. Me and you can probably get away with one tricking in the lanes that we're in, right?
yeah,
Even in jungle, I feel like lanes like mid and top, you can't one trick. So we were having sometimes when people were picking bad champions into objectively bad matchups,
oh
but they were
yeah,
trying to learn a champion and one trick it. And I was like, hey, I mean, I let it go on for a while, and I was like, all right, like, bro, you can't do this. You can't push this person to this person.
yeah,
I did it for both top and in mid lane where I told them like, hey, you can't pick game plank into this person because he's gonna whoop his ass or something like that.
yeah,
Or like, I don't know. It was just I'm trying to learn how to uh give better feedback because unfortunately, both of our teammates are kind of sensitive in that regard, where
Yeah.
you try to give them feedback, and it doesn't always turn out too well,
Yeah.
or they may take it a
They're a
certain way.
little hard headed.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. So
I'm very open to it. I honestly, you're the expert in the game, right? You've played the game way longer than me. You know it like way better than I do. You've played it recently, right? You know meta right now. So I'm taking your cues, right? If you're telling me to do something, like you know it, you're probably right.
well,
So you
it's
know,
easier to direct you because first of all, I'm down there in lane with you.
yeah, of
So
course, right?
and then second off, like I said, I can support you if you have Varus, and I know, okay, Varus doesn't have that much movement, and they're gonna pick movement characters on you.
Yeah,
I can like kind of pick a character to kind of mitigate that,
yeah.
and then we can kind of go. Like the only
Well,
lane
we have
that
to
you
play it
saw,
differently, right? Like
yeah,
he's an interesting character because you're right. His weakness is movement, right? He's not a movement character, but I think you can play him though in such a way with the support you have in bottom where you bait the enemy team into thinking you're compromised,
yep,
and people do that a lot. That like in low elo, they're very dumb. They don't they don't think through like what the situation is, and we do. We've been bait. Me and you are, I think, really we've gotten really good at this. We like bait people into jumping on us or trying to jump on us, and I don't think they underestimate how much damage we can pump out. And I
yeah,
think we're better at focus firing than the enemy teams are, generally speaking. So like we're killing one of them, and then the other one is in a 2v1 and they're fucking done. So
yeah.
at that point. So I think that's
The,
where us being a pre-made is like really helping out for sure, obviously. So
Yeah, and for me, when I'm like jungling, I can see all of the map, like
mhm.
because I'm constantly looking at mini map.
Yeah.
That's one thing I say that we all need to work on. Um, we need to look at mini map way
Yeah.
more. Like you
Yeah.
need to. I usually when I'm farming in lane, I hit a minion, look at map, hit a minion, look at map, hit a minion, look at. I'm constantly my eyes constantly on the map. Um, because there have been certain instances when I was jungling, in one instance where I'm like coming up for a gank, and my teammates just aren't ready, and I'm like, hey, I'm coming, and I'm pinging like I'm coming, and they're just like
Mhm.
not paying attention, and
Yeah.
it's a failed gank at that point,
Yeah.
and I don't say anything, but it's just like I need y'all to look at mini map. So
Yeah.
everybody does it, and I even sometimes I do it. So that's
No,
just like
it's
the
my
newbie
biggest
thing.
weakness. It's always been my biggest weakness is keeping up on the mini map. Like I look at it,
Yeah,
I'm not ignoring it, but I'm not doing it often enough, probably.
yeah,
um I am pretty aware of the general area around me, like if
hmm,
somebody's coming in for a gank, I generally see it. I like there haven't been a ton of times where I'm getting ganked like off my ass, um
yeah. I will say for a bot lane, because that's usually the lane where people hyper focus.
yeah.
We've been dived so many times and just lived because we are so aware. Because
Yeah.
I know when something's coming, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, both
Yeah.
of them are missing on the map. We're under tower. Zed's about to fucking dive us with both of them. So be ready
Hmm.
for that shit, and we'll be ready for
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It's just certain instances like that, and a lot of instances too. Since we're in low elo, um, and I noticed it too with like our mid lane and our top lane. They can win a lot of fights. They just don't know when to win those fights. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I try to let them know, like, okay, if this person does, usually for this is a general rule of thumb. If a person has a CC move, that CC move is going to be on high cooldown.
Yeah.
That's usually the time for you to go in and counterattack them or
Hmm.
get more minions or whatever the case may
Hmm.
be. And in low elo, especially, they like to blow through their mana. They have poor mana management.
Yes.
And you remember I told you we were going against like a Kate and somebody else, and I'm like, they blew their mana.
I
They're
know. I
still in
remember,
lane for
dude.
some
You
reason.
you called it too. You fucking called it. They're literally just spamming skills, right? And me and you're using your skills, but I'm kind of sitting there. I'm shooting an occasional arrow, maybe, but I'm not like trying to blow through my mana the way they are. I want to be in the
Yeah.
lane for a while. My goal is to be in lane, right? I'm not trying to go back
Yep.
to base, dude. Like I don't want to go to base. Like that's not what you're trying to do. Like yeah, sure, getting an item might help you farm better, but dude, if I can literally stay in lane until I can get my boots and my shield bow, like that's my goal. That's kind of my goal
Yeah.
early game. I
Yep.
I don't want to go back to lane just to get my boots, or go back to base just to get my boots. That's not a good thing to me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm trying to do, and I think other players don't even think about the game that way. Like they're literally just trying to get kills, dude. It's like you were talking about. Like
Exactly.
they're
Yeah.
just
They
trying to
don't
get
think
kills
about
down there.
XP and everything like that. It's your
Yeah,
thing. Like all of us actually are really good with game knowledge because we're like, especially Jet. I do admire Jet when he's in mid lane. He's like, I'm trying to get XP. I'm not
yeah,
just trying to get gold. I'm trying to get XP. And then that's
yeah,
the way you're supposed to think. Like you're supposed to be thinking about XP and gold,
yeah,
uh, not just kills. And that
yeah.
the low elo player is just thinking about kills and stuff
Well,
like that.
dude, that's where some of these games I kind of snowballed out of control because some of the games I did get my boots and shield bow off of like before I ever went back to base. Like I got both of those at the same time, and I started building the next item too. I had that much gold on me, and dude, the power spike that happened in those games was fucking nuts. Like I was shredding the enemy team at that that point in the game. There was a period where I'm like fucking like people were trying to dive on me and I'm just like I don't even give a shit, bro. Like you can't kill me. Like it's like it's so especially if you were there or somebody else was there, like if it was even a 2v3, like I felt really confident for the most part we could take them out. So that's kind of what I'm learning too is other people's power spikes, my power spikes, like where am I powerful, where can I fight, like when are opportunities in the game where I can actually like join a team fight and fucking wreck the enemy team.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's another key aspect that I'm trying to wrap my head around, which I think I'm getting it. I think the biggest things for me I need to keep my head on with is like keep working on this is the mini map you were talking about, team fights, making sure I'm mobile in the right positions, not being the one that gets jumped, not being out of position in the team fight, and using my flash in the middle of a team fight, to escape somebody that's like charging at me or diving on me or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
That is something I've been really trying hard to work on too. I did it a few times in a couple of the games and it was pretty successful. Where I just like completely repositioned myself in the fight and got away from somebody, and then I was able to root them and slow them and basically kill them before they could even get to me. So that's kind of another thing I'm trying to work on too. So the thing is, I think before like last year, I think the game was moving so fast for me. It's almost like the way that people talk about like professional sports is like with NFL quarterbacks in particular, like they talk about the game moving too fast for like a rookie quarterback or something like that. That I think
Yeah.
that's what was happening to me last year is the game was like moving so fast to me that I wasn't keeping up with it. But now I'm like comfortable. I like
Well, they did slow down the game with the tank meta. So like
mhm.
a lot of people were saying that because like I don't know if y'all remember me saying that because people were
That's
we
right.
were
Yeah.
we were complaining about the tank meta, but I was like last year y'all like the damage was insane. Like people will one shot somebody like level 3 and that was like normal. You know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy how fast the game was.
Yeah.
But they actually slowed it down this season, which I appreciate because it's easier for players to get back into.
Yeah.
Um, I think they noticed that too after Arcane that a lot of people started coming back to League or
And then
new
they
players
dropped
were
off.
playing League and they dropped off because
Yeah.
like it was just way too fast.
Yeah. Well, I
But
will say I noticed that too. I'm not exploding as fast as I used to. Maybe that's because I have more items and I'm just playing better and I'm like tankier as a result. I think that's definitely part of it actually for me. But at the same time, I will say it is a little harder to kill people than I remember.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
which I think is a good thing. I don't think that's bad. I hate that burst meta, dude, where you die in like 2 seconds. You can't even fucking react. Because like the abilities happen so fast and they do so much damage. I prefer a little bit slower and Dota's like that. It's like there's not shit isn't bursty like that. Like team fights are longer in Dota than they are in League. So, I kind of prefer that, but I think League has it in a good spot right now overall. So I
yeah.
feel like I
And
can actually
we
take
just
hits.
we just gotta learn how to play against it. And I think that's the one
Yeah,
thing that uh we're older players and a lot of players don't like to adjust to change. A lot of older people don't like to adjust to change and everything. So we just have to learn. Once we play the game
yeah.
more, we'll learn.
Well, I'm learning
I
the
mean,
items. That's the thing. I think you were helping me out with that too. I mean, I've been kind of leaning on you for like item suggestions because I don't know what any of the items do, but I have a good sense for the ADC items at least. So right
mhm.
now, I'm starting to try a little bit different builds, maybe combine some things that I wasn't combining before. And I'm gonna keep working on that. I think. And yeah, I mean, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying it this time. So I don't think I'm going to drop off right now, especially since we're not playing Apex. We're kind of.
Yeah,
I
I've
think we're
I've
all over.
actually
Yeah, good.
since we started playing Apex, like I don't know. I was playing well, I guess we can move on to the next game, but because I
Mm-hmm.
was about to say I was playing Modern Warfare 2 with some snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I was playing Modern Warfare 2 with snakes. That's actually what I'm always going to say about it. Um, I played DMZ mode with one of my other friends, which is like the Escape from Tarkov type mode
Yeah.
they have. And then I was playing just regular Call of Duty modern multiplayer with snakes yesterday, and I was actually having fun. Like
Yeah.
a lot of my, I think, and I think the battle royale, yes, is different. Um, but I think if we were to play, if all of us would play it, if y'all had an open mind towards it, y'all would like it. I
Yeah.
think a lot of our skills from Apex transfer over to other like
Mm-hmm.
first person shooters
Mm-hmm.
because the skill gap in these games from Apex. I think Apex is like echelon. Like if you, if you come to that game, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Because
Yeah.
even me and Snakes were talking about it. And he was like, "Yeah, like I was in Snakes lobbies, and I was getting like 25. I was going 18-2 or
Mm-hmm.
18-6 and
Yeah.
16-3 or whatever the case may be. And Snake was on the top of the lobby. I mean, sometimes we got steamrolled, but the majority of the time, we were we were communicating with each other and stuff like that. And it was just a really fun time. But I don't know. I feel like just going to that,
Oh
and on
man.
top of that, there was no penalty for him playing on PC and me playing on console. I really love that. I was
Mm.
playing on Xbox and he was playing on PC. There was no penalty for that. But
Ah,
anyway, like I don't
man.
know, it was just really cool to play, and all my skills that I learned in Apex transferred over to fucking Call of Duty, to where like and it looked like I'm snapping on people because I'm just so used to so much fucking movement in the game where Call of Duty
Yeah.
doesn't it's fast but doesn't have as much it's not nearly as fast as Apex at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Like Apex is probably the fastest first person shooter you ever played as
Yeah.
far as like skill and
Yeah.
placement and where you are on the map and how this enemy moves compared to this enemy, whereas a Call of Duty is just like a straight, there is no super movement characters like that. You may have a perk that give you a little bit extra movement, but nothing like that.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Is the BR free?
Yes, the BR is free. DMZ mode and BR is free.
Man, are you guys gonna get me to play COD?
I know, but this is actually a good
I've
COD.
never
I
played.
think
I've never played COD, dude.
that's crazy.
Like okay, that's not true. I did play COD at someone's house. I've never bought COD and played it though myself.
Okay.
So
Yeah, like I said, I feel like once you played Apex, you played pretty much every first person shooter. Um,
mhm.
they have the same controller scheme and everything like that. Obviously
Yeah,
you don't have powers or anything like that, so you don't have to worry
yeah.
about that.
I don't know. I think
But
I feel like I'd rather play Fortnite for.
I mean, I'm down for both. You know me, I'm down for both.
Shit,
So
dude. I don't know.
me,
I mean,
me and
I'm in a
me and
MOBA.
Snakes are playing it.
I'm in MOBA mode right now, dude. I want to play
Yeah,
MOBAs. Like I'm
I
kind of
mean,
over the
Snake said
shooter
he
thing
was
right
willing
now.
to learn.
Yeah.
I just don't think he has the patience for like League of Legends and stuff like that. But he said he wanted to jump in. He's like, I can jump in if you guys want me to. And I'm
He
like,
will play. What role do you think he would be best at? Top
Jets roll.
or mid? You think mid?
Yeah, yeah, and Jets not willing to give up mid. So uh he can probably do. I think you know what? Since his attention span is kind of like Zoomerish, I think he can do jungle because jungle you're constantly doing stuff. You're
Oh,
constantly
okay.
looking at the map.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's fair. Yeah. Um. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in the mood for MOBAs. I mean, if you ever decide you want to play Dota, let me know. I want to.
Yeah,
I do want to play that too. But
I sneak and play like practice games, so
Okay.
I just
Okay.
play here and there
Okay.
when I get downtime. But
Um.
I'm slowly learning the game.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing I'm going through right now. But well, if you ever want to play a bot match, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. I mean, I know that game not as well as you probably know League because I haven't played it in couple years, few years. But I generally speaking have knowledge of at least the characters and most of the items. So
Okay.
the current meta I don't know, but that's something I think we can easily learn. So But another MOBA though that we started playing was Paragon, which came out in early access last week, and DJ's been playing this with us. This is the one he wants to play. So we got like 3 different MOBAs going on right now potentially. But you played it one session, right, with us, and I think that's all I played too. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
we played on Saturday night. We played
Yep.
what, 4 games maybe.
Yeah.
So I think this game is fun. I think this game has a lot of
Yes.
potential actually
Has a
for us.
lot of potential.
I hope it can get a bigger audience though, because our experience with it on Saturday was definitely a mixed bag, but overall it was really bad in terms of we were a pre-made, like a 5-stack pre-made, and we were going up against other 5-stack pre-mades, and these people were like,
Knew how to play the game.
they knew the meta, they knew the strats, they knew the fucking champions and all this shit, dude. They were doing shit that I like was like my brain. I'm literally just trying to figure out how to auto attack the right way, like what's the most efficient jungle path, because I was playing jungle for us, which was a departure for me, but it was actually kind of fun. And yeah, it was interesting because they were like invading me in jungle, and then they were like taking my red buff, and they were like fucking me up, and they like
Yep.
boxed me out of jungle entirely at certain points in some of these games. Like, dude, it was fucking bad. It was like miserable. The first couple
Yeah.
games especially, but eventually the third and fourth games I started to get it a little bit. And
Hmm.
and we actually won the last game because 2 of the enemy team quit. So that was, we were like sitting there playing, and we're like, oh man, we're actually doing well this game, guys. And then Montrell was like, yeah, we're playing, they're playing 2 down right now, guys. And we're like, no, shut up, man, no, we need this, but I think it's a game. I think if everybody wants to play it, I'm absolutely down to play. I really enjoy it a lot. I don't remember though, like, is it you play Paragon more than me? Is it kind of like a almost like pretty much the same as what Paragon was when it shut down, or did they make some
I didn't
changes?
play the last couple months of Paragon, unfortunately, or the last like month. I didn't
Mm,
play it.
mm-hmm.
But they were slowly going to where it is now, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Now it's like almost a word for word carbon copy of League, as far as the setup and everything like that. You got your jungler. There was no red buff or blue buff. They did have two sides of a jungle camp like that.
yeah,
But it's almost like a mix of Dota
mm-hmm.
in League of Legends, where you have teleporters on the map and stuff like that. That's obviously not. That's like in Dota, I believe you have teleporters on the map, but
You don't have
in
teleporters. You have teleport scrolls. You
teleport
can
scrolls. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So but I do know like you have to buy an item for like blink, right, or a flash or something like that. Do you guys get that in Dota?
Yes, Dota has a blink dagger. It is an item.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so like in this game, you get they have the same item, or it's a starter item, but it contains something called Blink or Flash, and it's a 5 minute cooldown. But that's like League of Legends and your summoner spells are
Yeah.
not tied to an item at all that you pick pre game. So, I mean they're doing a little bit of both. But they're obviously following like kind of the League of Legends standard right now, because the Great Spirit is the dragon, then the Orb Prime, and then the mini Orb Prime is nothing but the Rift, and then the Baron, stuff like that. Um, so it's definitely something to get used to. I like it a lot actually. But like you said, I think they need to do something about their matchmaking. I don't even think it's necessarily the matchmaking. I just think it's not enough players,
Yeah. There was only
unfortunately.
like 13,000 playing on Saturday
Yeah.
night when we were playing, so the game
Yep.
is small right now.
Yeah. So um I think though as the game grows, it gets more attention. I have been seeing some YouTubers play and everything like that. This is the only time I think streamers are like viable, where they can, put, light on certain games and everything of that nature. But me and DJ were playing, we weren't running into this issue.
Hmm.
We were just running into the issue of people getting upset they didn't get the roles they want to play.
Yeah.
So when me and DJ started going into the lobbies, we were saying, what roles do you guys want to play? And people would pick their roles, even if they had first or second pick. That we were like, okay, if you don't want to play support, I'll play support. Or you don't want to play jungle, I'll play jungle.
Yeah.
We were just like trying to accommodate. And once we did that, we had way better games.
Well,
Um,
that's one criticism I have is their role system is awful.
Yeah.
You don't pick your role before the game. You just queue up for a game, and then it's first come first serve. Whoever like they put the 5 roles on the screen, and you just click the one you want.
I
And
don't like that at
I
all.
do
Yeah.
not like that at all. DJ was trying to defend it, and it's like, no, man, this is bad. You have to make people queue for the role before they queue. Like
Yeah.
the way League
Yeah. I
does
don't,
it is the way to do it. Period. To me,
yeah.
because Dota and unranked does not make you pick your role either, and even in ranked, it used to not make you pick your role. I think it does now. But that was a huge issue in that game because you would end up with a team of fucking 5 carries because nobody wants to support, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like it was just like it just turned into like meme troll games, you know, like it's not like a serious game of Dota at that point. So it yeah, that kind of issue, I think League figured it out. Like you queue for a role before you queue up, you know, like two
Yeah.
roles, and you have a primary and a secondary, and that's it,
Yeah.
you know.
In playing this game though, I don't understand. I understand Fortnite at the time was just making so much money, but I still don't understand why they couldn't support this game. I think this game had a lot of potential to possibly be up there with League right now. Because
Yeah,
people would, if it was in the same client, say if it was in the same client as Epic client, right?
yeah,
People are like, all right, I'm tired of playing Fortnite. What else can I play? What's this Paragon game? And then probably could have got some bleed over from like
yeah,
Paragon characters or put some of the Paragon skins inside of Fortnite, advertise the game more, and then they could do a lot with the game. It's just unfortunate that they kind of gave up on it.
yeah.
But I am glad that there's such a passionate community out there that built the game back up and everything like that. And yeah, I just hope it gets really popular. More people play it, and then yeah, the community we can stop going against fucking master rank players and that inside that game.
I know, dude. That shit was wild, dude. It's like we were playing. It was like pred level, you know, Apex players. Like that's what it
Yeah,
felt like. We were just getting dominated, dude. Like even when we were on even ground in team fights, they were just picking us apart, you know. So, but you know, it was all right. I think that the last couple games, I was actually starting to get the farming route down for jungle, like what you should be doing first, how to jungle. There was some basic things I didn't understand the first couple games either, so I was like way behind on farm. Like you guys were like level 6 and I'm like level 4. You know, it was pretty bad. So you know, it's a new game. We gotta spend time with it and figure it out. I don't know. I'm into League enough right now. I don't know if I have the time in me to put into Paragon. So it's really going to be more of is everybody down to play Paragon? I'll jump on. I'm not going to play by myself though, probably.
yeah.
So, so yeah. Other than that, just playing more Genshin. I beat God of War over the weekend. God of War Ragnarok. We are Montreal also beat it this week. We are going to talk about that next week, and we are going to do that as a spoiler cast during the episode, the main episode. So we'll do it at the end of the episode next week. So you guys will hear our full thoughts there. Um, there's some post game stuff that I want to do. I don't think Montreal's done it either. That has a little bit more story in it, so I kind of want to do that as well. So we'll have more thoughts there. Other than that, I don't Tactics Silver I haven't played, and then Lord of the Rings I think I played like once one night for like an hour or two. You know, I'm not playing it a lot. It's just kind of a when I'm in the mood for it, I'm booting it up. So I don't think I'm going to be playing it a ton, but um, I'm having fun with it though when I do log in. So, all right, Wancho. Other than League, Overwatch, Call of Duty, what else you been playing?
Yeah, Call of Duty, League of Legends, I beat God of War Ragnarok. Been playing Overwatch 2, Final Fantasy Core or Final Fantasy Crisis Core.
Mm-hmm.
I just started playing that. I'm really enjoying it. I call it a remaster and not a remake for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
The graphics are super improved. It almost looks like Final Fantasy VII remake as far as graphics wise.
Yeah.
Almost, but not there. I know they said they used like an AI engine or something like that to redo the graphics and everything. I'm not a big fan of the new voice actor for Zach. He tries to like emulate Zach. I believe it's the voice actor that did Zach in Birth by Sleep. I don't think it's the same voice actor from the original Crisis Core. Um, so I'm not really too big of a fan of of the voice change, but he's doing a good job. I just I like the nostalgia of the old
Yeah.
Zach or
Yeah.
whatever. But he has the same lines and everything like that. He kind of delivers them in the same way that the original Zach did it. So I can understand coming into a role like that and trying to emulate that. Um, the combat is improved a little bit. There's a little bit of a button delay. That
Yeah.
button delay has always been there from the PSP version. But they did improve like the smoothness of dodging from
Mhm.
going from one attack to another attack and everything of that nature. It's very much an early like action square title, action
Interesting.
RPG square
So
title.
they didn't
Uh,
change it up like the gameplay too much, it sounds like.
it's more smoother,
Yeah.
I would say, way smoother. The
There weren't like
animations and
massive
everything.
overhauls.
Yeah, there weren't massive overhauls though.
Okay.
Um, I actually like it. I think there's still a little bit of strategy into playing it. It's not like an action game like a Devil May Cry or even a Kingdom Hearts 2. It's more so like Kingdom Hearts 1 ish, but a little bit more slower paced, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just it's a RPG through and through. There, I'm playing it on hard mode, and I'm actually enjoying it on hard mode because I knew normal was gonna be way too easy for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I actually like it. And maybe I'm a bit biased. I'm interested to seeing. I'm interested in seeing other takes of people who never played Crisis Core, how they feel about the combat. But I like it so far. Like I don't think it's a bad feeling. I actually forgot about the little bit of the input delay that's in the game
Yeah.
in general. And like I said, that's just because of the PSP. Because you had certain animations, like Zach had to finish his animation to do another attack, where they kind of clean that shit up a little bit. But in modern games, like coming from God of War, that was like I'm like, oh shit, like so I had to get used to it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It is, and people have to remember too. Even I had to remember as far as dialogue and everything like that. It is an early, like one of those early cheesy dialogue type JRPGs. Um, it's pretty much like cringe Kingdom Hearts stuff. Like it was one line where the guy was like, Director Lazard was like, Zach, what do you want to be? And Zach was like, me? I want to be a hero. And I'm like, oh my fucking god, bro! Like this is the
Yeah.
game. Like this is you know. I mean, to be honest with you, Final Fantasy never really had groundbreaking fucking dialogue anyway. So,
Yeah.
um, if you're used to Final Fantasy dialogue, it's the same. It's old school Final Fantasy. It's not in the new school Final Fantasy dialogue. So, um, yeah, there's actually some story beats I forgot about in the game. Like even early in the game, I forgot about how we're going to war with the Wu Tai Nation and
Mhm.
how Sephiroth was one of the
Yeah.
Shinra heroes and Angel and Genesis and all that other stuff like that. So I actually forgot a lot of this story. So it's gonna be really interesting for me to play through it again and know the story because when I first played this game, this was my introduction to Final Fantasy VII. I went back and played Final Fantasy VII after I played this game, uh, back in the day on the PSP.
Mhm.
So that's why I have a certain affinity for Zach than more than others because a lot of people, and I didn't even know this until I played the Final Fantasy VII original, that you experience Zach through flashbacks.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, I played with Zach throughout the entire game, and then I met Cloud. I mean, well, you meet Cloud on the way, but I don't want to tell you how ever. But like, it's like you meet that character in the way, and then you understand. It's just certain stuff I have affinity towards Zach, and people don't understand that. Whereas like a lot
Mhm.
of people have this strong affinity towards Cloud, and in my eyes, I'm like, I just don't get it. Like he's not who everyone thinks he is. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm glad this game came out, and I'm glad like people can kind of experience it, and they can kind of understand who Zach is as a character instead of experience him through flashbacks.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think you're
yeah,
gonna experience Zach as a character in Final Fantasy VII Part Two. So,
yeah, yeah,
which
yep.
is, I mean, that is an exciting thing in itself. But I want to, I do want to play this game. Um, I just don't know when I'm gonna do it. I think I kind of have to play this game actually. I think if with how invested I am in Final Fantasy VII remake now, and it sounds like a good story to experience too. So, and it gives like kind of some pretty necessary backstory to me, I think, based on what I know about it. I mean, I've heard about this game for so many years, so I know like
Mm.
bits and pieces about it, you know. But I don't have the whole context, so I do want to play it. I don't know. I'm like thinking, you know, because I'm finished God of War. I wanted to platinum God of War, but God of War is so fucking long that I don't know if I have it in me
Yeah,
to play the game for another 20 hours or 25 fucking hours, whatever it's gonna
I
take.
did look it up. They said it's going to take at least 60 hours to platinum it. So that's an actual, like I said, if it took you 20 to 30 hours to beat the game, that's an extra 30 hours you got
No,
to
I
play.
it took
So
me 35, I think, to beat the
okay,
game.
it took me 20. I think I beat it at 27.
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of side shit before I finished the game, but there's still a lot I didn't finish either. I kind of left some of it, you know, for post game, and there's a ton of shit in
Hmm.
post game that you have to do too. And I didn't go get all the collectibles, and it's like I don't know if I have it in me to do that for because, dude, another 25 hours doing that 25 hours, like, dude, that's a week probably at least,
Yeah,
maybe two for me,
yeah.
and which would preclude me from playing other things. So I'm like, do I really not? Because I need to get back to Tactics Ogre, and I want to pick another single player game to play. You know, I'm kind of thinking about Elden Ring, maybe actually spinning that up and giving that a shot. So, you know, I don't know. I may just keep God of War installed and play it when I'm in the mood and just chip away at it. You know, when I'm, you know, not when I have some time, like I have a day off or something, and you know, I have the whole day available to me. I might play God of War for a couple hours and just knock some stuff out. So I don't know. I'm gonna figure that out, but you know, but I think Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring's still in the wrapping. I never unwrapped it, so um, that may be the game. But that one's just so like big.
That was big too. So
Yeah, so that's another one that's gonna take me, you know. But I want to play one more game. I think before we do Game of the Year, which we're gonna do probably in 2 weeks, maybe three
hmm
weeks. Um, I want to fit one more thing in probably to talk about, and I think Elden Ring kind of. I kind of feel like Elden Ring has to be the game, you know. So because that's like the game everybody is fucking losing their mind about this year. So, but I don't know. We'll see. So,
yeah,
um,
I will say if you're gonna play Final Fantasy, see how it looks on the Switch, Crisis Core.
mhm.
See how it looks on the Switch, and if it looks decent and still runs at like 60 or whatever, buy it on the Switch. I bought it on the PS5. It's amazing. But the game at its core is designed to be portable. So there are missions where you can just do random missions at save points,
Yeah,
and it's like a whole separate part of the game. And there's a lot of fucking missions, and the game was designed to be portable, like on the go. You play these little 2 or 3 minute missions, and then you go. Right, that's what
yeah,
it's designed to do.
hmm
Um, so I would say buy it on the Switch. A lot of people may disagree with me on that, but I kind of wish I bought this game on the Switch so I
yeah,
can play it in like other rooms or something like that.
mm,
While I'm doing something else,
yeah,
because it still has that portable mentality. They didn't.
yeah,
That's why it's a remaster, not a remake, because they didn't change all that.
yeah. I feel that with Tactics Ogre because I bought it on PS5 and I'm like, I bought it on PS5 because, well, A, to me it's a PlayStation game, but B, I wanted to platinum it, you know,
Hmm.
and I still do, of course. But it is the perfect portable game, and I do have a little tiny bit of regret that I didn't get it on Switch because if I did get it on Switch, I could be playing it while we're queuing up for whatever the fuck league or whatever game
Yeah.
we're playing. I could be playing it in like 2 to 5 minute bursts that way and getting through it. You know, that
Yep.
way with it on PS5, I can't do that as much. You know,
Yep.
so yeah, but I feel you on that. So. A Crisis Car would not be a game I would platinum more than likely, so that may be a Switch game for sure. But all right, anything else you're playing, or should we get into the news?
We can get into the news.
All right, let's do it. So we don't have that many news stories. Bulk of our talks this week is going to be in the Game Awards. But we have a couple items to discuss before that. So the first thing is Bandai Namco trademarked something for Tales, Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn. They did that in Europe on December 7th. And there's no details about this. Bandai hasn't announced anything, but this was caught, you know, when they filed for the trademark for this. And I just wanted to talk about it because I kind of want to speculate a little bit here. Montreal, what do you think this is? Do you think this is a DLC for Tales of Arise, a sequel, something else entirely, like a television show or an anime or something, or movie, or something else?
When Tell's games usually do a sequel to the same game, do they name it differently or do they
Yes.
just do like part two?
No, they always name it differently. As far as I can remember, there's never been a part two. They've never done two. Like Tales of Symphonia was like. I
They
also
did
think it
Tales of
was.
Zillia too. That's what I'm
Oh,
asking
they
because they
did do
did do
Tales of
Zillia.
Cilia too, but yeah,
Yeah.
Symphonia had a sequel and it was not numbered two. But
What was it
Cilia
called? I don't remember
was.
the
It
sequel.
was like it was something Dawn as well. I think. Let me go look it up.
Yeah, because I if that's the case, then this is probably just a sequel.
Yeah, Dawn of the
Because
New World.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
so this is probably just a sequel. Then I thought it was maybe like a
yeah.
mobile game spinoff or something like that, but
Mhm.
uh, yeah, this is just a sequel.
Well,
I mean, when we beat the game, I will say it did kind of leave
yeah.
stuff to be desired. Like I was like, is this it? Like this can't be it.
Well,
Um,
I thought
so
they wrapped things up though. For the most part. So, what do you think a sequel would look like for this game?
it can probably be. It said it's beyond the dawn.
It sounds like a sequel. I think it takes place after the main game, whether it's a DLC or a sequel. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like to me.
So I mean, we can. I guess we can see how the kingdoms turn out after we liberate everything, and
Yeah,
everything has to get built up back to where it used to be, or before this whole thing even happened. Because I'm trying to remember the story, but before the mages and everybody split up, we can see how the world was before that.
yeah,
Because they even talk about how um, Rinwell even talks about like how her parents should talk about how in their history, like they used to do grand things and everything of that nature. So
yeah.
it may get back to that aspect, and we can see how the world has progressed since then, or there may be some existential threat.
Or yeah,
Uh,
do you think they will bring the sci-fi shit back in, or do you think they will take it
I
out and not have it at all, and it'll be more
I
focused on the world itself?
I don't want them to do that. So interesting thing about this game, um, which we didn't know, but the producer, the I think the leader or the producer of this project came over from God Eater.
Yeah.
So that's why there was some weird shit. Like I don't know if you just remember weird shit,
Oh
but it was
yeah.
just like this isn't like Tales like. So they didn't have the same Tales director. And I don't think any of the Tales have probably had the same directors for long. But it's like this one was
No,
especially
they did
egregious.
actually. This is the
Oh, they
first.
did?
This was the first Tales because Hideo Baba has been the director of Tales for as long as I think the series has been around, and he left after
Okay.
the one Berseria, I think the one where you were
Okay.
a evil character. I think he
Okay.
left Namco after that game. So
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because this game's story is really weird. I just remember the random four beasts that you had to fight,
yes,
and I was like,
yep,
"What is going on here?" I
yep.
wasn't really a big fan of that because it had nothing to do with the story and it was random. And apparently, like people were like, "That's kind of a thing in God Eater," and I was like, "Why are y'all saying that?" And I did some research. This was like 2 weeks ago, by the way. It's funny how that works. And I was like, "Oh my god, the person who did God Eater is doing Tales of Arise. He did Tales of Arise."
Yeah,
And it makes so much sense from a story perspective because it does the typical Tales shit where it like throws like it's a U-turn into the thing. You think the world is one thing, but it's another. But it was
yeah,
just so
which
terrible this
they do,
time.
they
It
do that.
was
They do that in every game. Yeah, no, I mean they do that. Yeah, that is the trend, right? And I think the reason I like Symphonia so much is that was the first Tales game I experienced, and that was the
yeah.
first. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that was the first Tales game to do that either. But it was the first one I experienced, and it was actually well done in that game, or at least it felt like it was well done in that game.
A lot of people say it
Um,
was well done in that game. I don't think you're the only person who thinks that. A lot of
yeah,
people are like, "Yo, this game story is crazy," and
it
like,
is fucking bonkers, dude.
yeah,
I am not gonna lie. There is some crazy shit in that game. I do remember some of the twists that happen in the middle of the game are fucking nuts. But so I do recommend that game as like a Tales fan for sure. But a lot of the other games that have that like multiple world shit, like Zillia, I think has it. Fucking this one Tales of Arise has it. I don't know if Zisteria had it or not. I didn't get deep enough, I think, to get there, but I'm just sure there was something.
So Vesperia has it, but it's like in a different way.
Yeah.
I think that's why people like Vesperia and Symphonia because they do it in a really good way. So yeah.
Oh, I was talking about Zisteria, not Vesperia.
No, I was just saying
Oh,
Vesperia
okay.
in general.
Oh
I
yeah,
wasn't talking
Graces
about
has it too. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah.
Vesperia.
That's like a crutch, dude. Now that I think about it, damn it, I never even put that together. Now that I'm thinking about the series, like that's fucking nuts. They kind of need to get away from that, actually. I think honestly, but so I think though this is interesting. We didn't like Tales of Arise that much. Like it's not a bad game, but I think both of us were on the same page where we were a little disappointed with it. We were really irritated with it by the end of the game. Like tired of playing it for sure. But what I will say is that I think a sequel in this situation doesn't excite me per se, but I'm like tentatively interested, I guess. I need to see it first before I'm like would be willing to play it, but I think there's potential here because they could get away from the sci-fi stuff and actually focus on the shit from the first half of the game that was good, you know? Um
Yes, because
that
we were
was
loving the first half of the shit. Like
yes.
we were
Yep.
like, "Yo, this game's on par to being the best Tales," and then
Mhm.
it just after that fourth boss, it just went crazy.
It
I'm
just
like,
craters, yeah. It just hard craters, yeah, after the fourth boss, like bad. And I think that you take that shit out and you kind of focus on more of the world and rebuilding things and the internal struggles within the world itself. I think you could have an actually pretty interesting game on your hands, but I don't trust this studio with Tales though, because what you said, the first thing you said about this actually is resonating with me hard right now. What's the villain going to be? It's going to be an external threat, right? It like has to be, you know? And what would that be if it is an external threat? Either it's going to be some weird sci-fi shit from like another planet, or it's going to be some weird thing from within the planet that nobody knew about until this game happens, you know? So,
yeah. So I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I don't know.
yeah. We'll see. I mean, we'll cover it when they announce it, if they announce it. We'll see. This is just a trademark, so could be canceled. May never come out. Who knows? All right. Next story. I don't have a lot to say about this one, but I think we need to cover it just to have it covered. Is the FTC last week uh, f- uh, sued Microsoft, and they are seeking to block their acquisition of Activision Blizzard. They are saying that Xbox gaining control of Activision would suddenly control one of the top video game franchises, which would enable them to harm competition in high performance gaming consoles and subscription services, and by potentially denying or degrading rivals access to that content from Activision Blizzard. So obviously this is in reference to Call of Duty mainly, but
Hmm.
I just wanted to kind of bring this up just to say this is happening, because last time we had talked about this, I think a couple weeks ago, Microsoft was meeting with the FTC. Clearly that did not go well. So this does not mean the deal will not go through. However, it does mean that the deal will take a lot longer to happen, to like finalize and actually be approved. So,
I think they should just seek a partnership instead of a takeover.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's what they're trying to do. Like if they're trying to do a partnership, then cool.
Yeah.
But I think they should if they want to start doing exclusivity stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
just buy a partnership or buy the exclusivities. Like that it is what it is with that. I don't think Microsoft should be. I'm actually glad FTC kind of blocked this.
Yeah.
Because I know they probably blocked it for other nefarious reasons, but it's like,
Yeah.
um,
Ulterior motives. They want
yeah,
they want concessions.
yeah, something like that. Something on the back burner. This is not, for consumer protection at all.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm glad though they're doing this because I don't like the idea that Microsoft can't make competition or they can't compete, so they just buy it out. I don't like
Right.
that.
And
Um,
they have a history of doing it. To be
exactly.
honest, I mean, what games have they made in their history that came from internally built studios. There are not that many. Like
Exactly.
Halo, they bought Halo, like that. Like they bought Bungie. Like they didn't make Halo. That game was already in development, and then they bought Bungie.
Yep.
So obviously
I mean,
They bought Rare as well, like Rare, and then they ran Rare into the ground.
they would
But
have did the same thing. So they did have one team under their belt, and then Activision bought them, or not Activision, but EA bought them. They did have BioWare making exclusive games for them because they made Jade Empire.
yep,
They made the Couture
Knights of the Old
games,
Republic. Yep,
and then they made
Mass Effect 1.
Mass Effect 1. Yep. It
Yep,
took a
and then
while
they
for
were
Mass Effect 1 to
purchased.
come out.
Yep, they were
Yep. Then they
purchased
got
after
purchased.
Mass Effect 1. Yep.
Yep. Microsoft actually didn't buy that team. They were just doing third party exclusivity
That
deals
would have
with
been
them.
a good one to buy, actually, for
Yeah.
Microsoft back in the day. That
Yep.
one would have made a lot of sense. I don't know if we would have been
Man,
better for that happening or not,
the
but
timeline would be so different right now. That's a
well,
butterfly effect moment.
would Anthem have happened? Would Anthem have ever happened? Because Mass Effects 2 and 3 probably would have happened. Maybe they would have been
Yeah.
different games, better or worse, who knows? But yeah, Anthem. I don't think Anthem would have happened for sure.
Yeah, you're right. For sure.
Andromeda might not have happened either. Actually,
I
interesting.
think Dragon Age was a Xbox and PC exclusive.
The first
The
one,
first one, right?
I don't know. It was a CRPG, so I don't know if it was on Xbox. It may have eventually
It
come to
was on the
Xbox.
Xbox because it was terrible to control on Xbox, but it was on
Okay.
Xbox. It was definitely
I
on
don't think it was
Xbox.
on PlayStation though.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They had some deals. And the thing is, they have a lot of stuff in the pan that they can play, that they can do. They're just not doing it. Like they still have Scalebound. They
Yeah.
still have that IP. That's not Platinum's IP. That's Microsoft's
Mhm.
IP, and they
Yeah.
just won't do anything with it. So they have ideas and stuff like that. They just I don't know. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope this deal doesn't go through, and it's not for Sony's sake. It's for all of gaming's sake. Like I don't
Yeah.
want this deal to go through.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know though. I just continue to feel though if it doesn't happen, Activision has clearly proven that they want to get purchased and they really want this deal to go through. Like, someone else may come along and offer them maybe less money, but they may still be willing to take it. 40 billion is fucking still 40 billion, even if it's less than 69 billion. So I don't know about that. That makes me wary because, like, how many companies could afford that? Not many besides Microsoft, and the ones that could are like Tencent and the Saudi fucking Arabian, Royal Fund or whatever the fuck it's called. So, and those are terrible options. So, we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. I still think this is going to happen. It is interesting how much it's getting pushback though. Sony has been very, very successful with their lobbying on this in Europe and here in the U.S. It is kind of surprising how successful they've been. But we're seeing Microsoft though; their executives are starting to come out and talk about this too, publicly, and they clearly really, 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 really want this to happen, and they are very willing to give concessions up. They offered the 10-year deal to Sony. They even offered that to the FTC, like, hey, we will sign a written document saying we will not withhold Call of Duty for 10 years, from any
Well, I
platform.
don't.
So
I think what they should do if they really want this, if they really are about competition, if they really are about the integrity of gaming and everything of that nature, how they claim they are, sign a written contract saying for life we will not. You don't have to do. You don't have to do other IPs, but for Call of Duty, we will not for the rest of this franchise life not make it exclusive.
I
And
don't think
I think
yep,
everybody
they're
will
not
calm down. But I don't
they're,
think they can do that
they're
kind of
not willing to
contract.
do
But
that.
like,
They're not willing to do
yeah,
that. They're not willing to do that for multiple reasons, right? Like putting forever on a contract is, doesn't make sense in and of itself because
well,
what
you can say
happens
like
when
50 years because I don't think any franchise would last 50 years. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Well,
but
shit,
that's the
Mario's coming
thing.
up.
Like, what happens when COD is no longer financially viable? They're still contractually obligated to make it and release it on platforms. It's like that's like where you're getting into weird territory there. But I think this is the thing: is the thing they have to do is forget about the FTC, all these other things, these extraneous things. Like, dude, they need to convince Sony, concede whatever they need to concede to get Sony to back off. The second they do that, this deal's going through. Clearly Sony is to me the reason that this is taking so long and having so many issues. So if they can convince Sony and give Sony something that they're satisfied with and they back off, then that's the game over. I think then Activision is theirs. But I think until that happens, clearly Sony does not at this point. It is not about concessions for Sony. They don't want this deal to go through. Period. Like that, I think is clear at this point. Like they are very, very, very scared of this happening. So,
Yeah, I mean
um,
that is super scary. I mean, when you read some of that report and everything like that, and even after got off, I read some more, and it's like Sony is very, in my opinion, like I'm almost willing to say 20% of their player base is because of Call of Duty. Like that's a
yeah,
lot of their player
that's
base. Call of
fucking
Duty and
wild.
sports games. Yeah. Call of Duty and sports games are a huge market for them. A
Yep.
lot of people own PS4s and even PS5s just for like Madden and Call of Duty. They don't play anything else but those two games. So it's like I know almost everybody I know has Modern Warfare 2, and when they go and buy Modern Warfare 2, like that's almost like a day and date thing for like I'm going to buy Madden as well, or I'm going to buy
Hmm.
you know or whatever the case may be. So it's almost like a staple game you have to have. Like people will come over your house and like, you don't have Call of Duty, like whatever, like So um, yeah, I think they have to they have to do something with Call of Duty. They have to say like, well, we'll do a partnership with you. Like you can help co-develop the game and still get the money or something. They have to do something. They can't just, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they can do, but they have to do something, like you said.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to our final news story of the week. The Game Awards happened last week on Thursday, and it was a long show. There was a lot of stuff shown though, and we're gonna go through all the trailers here. So, Montreal, real quick, do you want to talk about anything outside the game announcements from the Game Awards, or you just want to stick to the games?
I kind of just want to stick to the games. I already like was upset that God of War kind of won best score over the Xenoblade. That's my
That is
biggest
wild,
upset of the night.
dude.
That one really
No,
hurt
it's
me.
just that, dude. Did Xenoblade win anything, by the way?
No, it didn't. It didn't
Okay.
win nothing.
So this is kind of where I like I was just as surprised as you were when you said that. And it to me it's like it's just an example. This is why I don't care about the Game Awards, and I think nobody cares about the Game Awards is because it becomes a it's always a there's always a certain game, and this year it's like God of War and Elden Ring, right? Where they want it to be the game that gets all the fucking accolades, and they like at the expense of other games for like no reason that I can think of. But dude, the idea that like God of War Ragnarok has a better score than Xenoblade Chronicles 3, like get the fuck, like come
Bro, it
on,
was two
bro.
games in there. It was, and I wouldn't even been mad if this other game didn't get it. But when it gets Elden Ring as far as greatest score,
Yeah,
and if you play any of the Dark Souls games, they have fucking phenomenal scores for their boss fights. Like that's what they're known for. Like every
yeah,
time there's a Dark Souls meme, it's a fucking boss fight music theme
yeah,
meme. So
yeah,
it's like everyone knows their memes, and Elden Ring was no exception. Like the when that score is going on for each boss fight, you feel the fight because the score changes and everything like that.
yeah,
Because the majority of the game is silent, and then when that boss fight happens, you hear that score. So, um, I don't know. It's just really weird that God of War. To be honest with you, bro, I'm not even trying to hate. I don't remember a single score from God of War, like bar none, bro.
yeah. The only
None.
thing I really can think about that I remember is like the main theme, where
Yeah,
where
the
they have
main.
like that operatic, the like that. That's like the only thing I can really remember per se. Like, I mean, the music's like it's not bad music, but
It's not bad music, but I don't.
it's not
It's
memorable at
it's
all.
very forgettable in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. Which is
Compared to
funny
like,
compared to the old God of War, right? The old God of War music is fucking super memorable. I could sing the theme right now though, like duh 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 duh, duh, like that. Like that shit is like burned into my brain. But yeah, like the new games don't have like amazing music. The only
well,
song I can
because
think of is from the first game when you fight Balder. In the first time, like that's a
I
really
don't
good
even remember
boss.
that. I
That's
just don't feel like
yeah,
I don't feel like the God of War. First of all, God of War is really good, y'all. So don't take what I'm about to say like I'm trashing the game. I don't feel like the boss fights in the game justify the epic music that old God of War used to have. So
Yeah,
that's why they kind of went second fiddle to it in this new series of God of War. Because
yeah,
you're right. When I'm fighting against a fucking Titan, I can remember the boss theme because it's so fucking bombastic in your fucking face. Like
yeah,
you're fighting something, you know. Uh I don't know. Old God of War just had like crazy fights and they had the music to match that craziness,
yeah.
you know. So
Mhm.
I don't know. But yeah, that was the only thing. I mean, everyone was like kind of flipping out over the guy who said he's Bill Clinton, but it was just a kid who rushed the stage who was
Yeah,
like,
whatever, dude. Just
yeah,
it's like embarrassing that fucking happened. Come
yeah,
on, like,
yeah,
dude, like, what is going on there? That dude could have killed somebody on stage. Like, it's fucking
exactly.
insane that they even allowed that to happen. But it's not that interesting in like retrospect. It's just some kid who fucking ran on stage. So, but all right, let's get into the games then. So announcements. We're gonna go through pretty much in order. And talk through. There was a fucking ton of shit shown at the Game Awards. This was probably the strongest Game Awards I think I've ever seen personally. In my opinion, and the level of announcements. There was some stuff we knew, and there was a lot of stuff that we did not know. Now, what I will say too is Microsoft was just took a big fat L. They were not at this show at all. They had nothing here. So yeah, that was a big yikes to me. But so let's start with the first thing was Hades 2, dude, from fucking Supergiant. This to me was actually a huge surprise. I am very, very, very surprised they're going back to this game, and making a sequel, because this is a company that, an indie studio that does not do sequels. They never have. And this will be the first one they've ever done, and I'm excited about it, to be honest. I don't care about that, that aspect of it. I fucking love Hades. I think Hades is one of the best games that I've played in the last 5 years, probably. And I just like, dude, it's such a great roguelike, and it
I
plays
still
so
haven't played
well.
this game.
And yeah, you haven't played it, right?
No, I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, you're missing out. Play it. Just find some time to play it, dude. You can get it on Switch. It'll be a good handheld game for you, I think. Like that is the it's just it's such a good game. So, um a sequel to it is exciting, surprising, but still very exciting. So, I mean, what do you think? You think you're gonna play the first one, or are you gonna wait for the second one to come out?
I'll play the first one. I have it actually, so I'll
Okay.
play it.
Okay.
Um,
It's good. I mean, it's awesome. It's great. It's not like it's not gonna hold up or something. I think the reason I'm excited for a sequel to this game is that I think there's a lot of opportunity, despite how good the first game was. There's a lot of repetition in certain areas, particularly with the bosses. You fight the same bosses every time you go through the dungeon, and there are slight variations on those bosses at times. The first boss is different sometimes. There's like different versions of it, that are kind of portrayed as like different entities. But they're not that different, and they're easy enough generally that it's not like a big deal. But the later bosses are pretty much almost always the same, and that is the one thing that I think there's a little bit too much repetition there. So I kind of hope they expand on that a little bit, in this next game. And then uh, honestly, just the weapons, like the weapons, there was a great variety of weapons in the first game, but I think just getting a new slew of weapons and seeing kind of what they do to differentiate it from the first game is going to be very fun. Obviously, this character, it looks like by default like dual wields daggers, which is a very interesting to me as somebody who kind of mainlines classes like that in RPGs. So that alone excited me for sure. And maybe this character will be a little bit more agile than the one from the first game. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a big one. So we shall see. And Montreal, if you do play Hades, you know, talk about it on a show. I want to get your thoughts on that one because it's a super fucking good game. So, all right. Next game shown. This was another big surprise. This was kind of a big one from Ghost Story Games, which is Ken Levine's studio that he formed after he left Irrational and 2K after Bioshock Infinite, after that studio shut down. And they've been working on this game for a long fucking time, basically since then, like 8, 9 years. And it is
Oh yeah,
called,
this is Judas, right?
yeah, this it's called Judas, yeah. And it basically fucking looks like Bioshock.
Yeah.
That I mean, I've never played any of the Bioshock games, which I know many
What?
people. I know. Everybody will fucking kill me for that. I've never played
I mean, I
any of
never
them.
played Hades, so I can't talk shit.
No, I yeah, but I mean, based on the way people talk about games, like Hades is not like on Bioshock's level. Like Bioshock is like one of the most like well renowned games of all time. So it's whatever. I've always had a mental block with BioShock. I don't find the art style and the style of the games very appealing to me generally.
Hmm, that's
I don't
interesting.
like first person single player games. Like
Ah, okay,
I'm
okay.
I just I don't find that perspective very enthralling when I'm playing by myself. I would rather see my character and kind of play the game in a certain way. But I'm sure for people, who played BioShock like you, for instance, I'm sure this is a very exciting announcement. I mean, are you looking forward to this one?
Okay, so I may get flamed for this, but I after Callisto Protocol, I haven't played it yet, but after like the backlash from it, I
Hmm.
am tempering my expectations. And it was some couple other games too, like Mighty Number Nine and everything like that. Where
Yeah.
you're coming off the backs of like a great franchise or something like that, and they're like, oh, well, this person made this game, and this game's gonna be great, and it's like it doesn't turn out to be that great. It it kind of hurts. Uh,
Yeah.
So, even like Destiny, right? People are like, oh man, Halo, and I know that's a whole different thing. I know Destiny has a cult following, and y'all would suck Destiny's dick to the day it died. I don't think Destiny's that great. Like, to be
Me
honest with
neither.
you, I just don't think it's that great. It's a fun game, but it's
Very
a
good
fun game.
mechanically, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a very good game mechanically, like you said. But like, I don't think the story's that good. I think they really messed up with how they did the story and all that. It's a whole bunch of other stuff. Um, so that being said, with Judas, it looks really good, but I'm really hoping it's not playing on the nostalgia of, hey, we made Bioshock, so Judas is going to be good because a lot of people hated Bioshock Infinite. Like I kind of liked it, but a lot of people hated it because it went too actiony. You know what I'm saying? Like because the first game was kind of like a story RPG ish type deal. The first and the second one was kind of story RPG ish.
Hmm.
And the second and then Infinite went like real action. It kind of threw out the RPG elements and just went pure action. And a lot of people didn't like that, and a lot of people did like that. That one kind of split the community up. So I don't know. I liked it. I like all three of them actually. But I don't like getting hung up on uh because this person made this, then this next game they're gonna make is great. Cause like even Death Stranding, right? I didn't play the game, but everyone's like, oh my god, this game's phenomenal. It's the
Yeah.
most phenomenal game I've ever played.
Yeah.
But then I look at gameplay of it and I'm like, this ain't Metal Gear. And that's what I'm thinking. Because you put Hideo Kojima and you think Metal Gear or you think like Zone of Enders or something like
Hmm.
that. But
Yeah.
then you look at Death Stranding and it's not really an action game. It has action game elements, but it's almost like an Animal Crossing type game. Like you're
Hmm.
not really fighting. You know what I'm saying? It just has a really developed story around the
Hmm.
elements that you're doing and you're walking and discovering stuff. So I, that was my quick rant. Judas looks really good though,
Yeah.
from what I've seen of it. I just temper my expectations like I do with a lot of games nowadays, and I won't get hurt. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing with this game as well.
Um, I think it looks really good though for like the studio that's making it. Ghost Story is not large. They're a pretty small studio. Like they're not
Yeah.
anywhere near as big as Irrational was when they were making the Bioshock games. So that might be why this is taking so long. But I don't know. I think it I think it looks good, but yeah, I'm kind of with Montreal. Temper your expectations until we see more. because that was a really short trailer, and there was like almost no gameplay in it. So, all right, next game that was shown was from Platinum. I'm gonna be very interested to see what you think of this one. So, Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. So this is a Bayonetta game that
Hmm.
is following Bayonetta as a child trying to save her mother, apparently, and it's a almost like a storybook, kind of isometric action game. And I don't know. Well, I mean, what did you think of this one? Is this interesting
I
to you at
mean,
all?
it's just I mean, it's not interesting to me. I mean, it's cool that they're exploring this, but
Yeah.
I guess it's going to answer a lot of other questions that Bayonetta fans have. I think this is for like super hardcore Bayonetta fans. I mean, I guess I am one since I
Mm,
was in kind of invested in the story, but
yeah.
I wasn't really invested in the story. I was invested in the action of the game.
Yeah.
And this game looks like it's going to be different as far as action. I just
Hmm.
have to see how well it is going to play. It looks like it's going to be like one of those isometric. You have a pet in action, you raise it. I don't know. I don't fucking know. It looks decent though. It looks interesting to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I commend Platinum for like always getting outside their comfort zone. So this is another game trying to get really outside their comfort zone.
Hmm. Yeah. It's kind of interesting though with how poorly they've been doing lately as a studio. This feels like a huge risk because
Hmm.
I could see this flopping horrifically for them. So we'll see. It's coming on March 17th though, so it's actually fairly soon. Um, all right, moving on. Next thing shown was a Destiny Lightfall trailer. I don't have much to say. Montreal, I assume you don't either.
No, I mean I will say it looked really cool.
Yeah, this game's
Um,
trippy as balls now, though. This looks like
yeah,
a fucking cyberpunk game or something going
yeah.
on at this point. I'm
It
like,
looks really cool. I like that.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't really have too much to say because I didn't even know it was Destiny until I was like, oh shit, this is a Destiny game.
yeah. Well, no, you
Yeah.
see that
So
Titan model, and I'm like, oh, that's Destiny.
yeah.
Like so. But all right. The next game shown was Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, and this was kind of used as a homage slash honoring Kevin Conroy, who's the voice
Hmm.
of Batman, and he passed away a week or two ago. And it was revealed that this is going to be his last performance as Batman in
Wow.
this game. So he showed up. There was no gameplay. This was just another cinematic trailer. But I mean, this game is an interesting game. So we haven't seen a ton of gameplay of it. And I think it definitely looks good, but I mean, Montreal, what do you think? Are you excited for this one?
I'm cautiously excited for it because the gameplay they showed last year
Yeah.
was really good actually.
Hmm.
Um, it's just I don't know like the content that's gonna be because it looks like it's one of those team playing games.
Yeah. Co-op.
Yeah, co-op games. I don't know if it's gonna be like a persistent world type deal, like how they were doing with some other game, or if it's just gonna be like I don't know if you guys remember this one game called Brute Force for the Xbox, where it was like a 4-player co-op,
Yeah.
and like it's like a tactics game almost kind of, but it was first person shooter and everything like that. And hopefully they're going that route where it's like a campaign you can play by yourself with 3 other AIs, or like friends
Hmm.
can drop in and play as another character. Like I
Yeah.
hope they're going that route, not like um not the Gotham Knights route, like where it's an RPG. I don't want to play that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, I agree. I think as much as I was interested in Gotham Knights at first when it was shown as an RPG, it kind of after it comes out and you see all the reviews and everything, it's like, do these games really need RPG mechanics? No, they don't.
exactly.
Like it's kind of we'll talk about that next week, but like one of my biggest criticisms of God of War is all the RPG shit that they have shoehorned into that series now, and it's like I don't need that in all my games. It's like companies have gotten really obsessed with adding RPG mechanics where they don't need to be. Um, and yeah, I think this is definitely one of those places. So, but no, this is going to be interesting. I mean, the Flash is in it, Batman. It seems like all the major Justice League characters are going to be in this game. So, I do think it's exciting on that front as well, for sure. So, it'll be an interesting game to play. And it should be coming out next year. So I'm sure we'll see more of it as we get closer to it. So the next game shown was Party Animals. I don't have much to say about this one. It just seemed like really goofy, weird party game. Um,
Yeah,
Kind of reminds me of Gang Beasts, I think is what it's called, which kind of does something similar to this already. So, um, but it was trying to be funny. It's a little goofy, but after that, there was a very brief trailer. The Last of Us Part One that came out in September is coming to PC on March 3rd. So that will be
that's a
after.
really quick turnaround, actually.
It is 6 months, which I think it's exactly 6 months, in fact. So, which is interesting, but it will be coming out. I think I don't know if the series on HBO will be finished by then or not, or if it'll be kind of close to the end of its run. But I think they're clearly trying to line up with that. I mean, what do you think about the timing there? Do you think they should have done it before the series came out, or after it's finished, or in the middle, kind of what they're doing?
I'm like in the middle. I would have done in the middle.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree because if the series is good and people are into it, right? Um,
Hmm.
you'll have that drop in the middle of it, and it won't necessarily spoil the remainder of season one. You know, you can kind of play it afterwards. So I think it's a smart. I think it's a smart idea, for sure. So, all right. After that, we had another big trailer from EA and Respawn was Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and we did get some gameplay of this as well in this trailer.
Very little, but yeah, we got some.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, they showed like dual wielding lightsabers and stuff,
Yeah.
some stuff like that. So, I mean, what do you think?
It looks good. I already saw this trailer. I'm glad I can finally say it. I already saw this trailer. So, he good. So, I don't know. It looks really good though. Um,
Hmm.
it looks more serious. Still looks a bit Dark Soulsy, if that makes any sense. It
Yeah,
still looks like they're following that Dark Souls format, which I was hoping they would get away from. Um,
yeah.
but I mean, it works. So if it works, it works. It looks like there's some kind of dual attack or like team attack. So I don't know if that's just like a cinematic thing or if you're actually gonna have a teammate with you, or you can possibly get co-op or something like that. But I'm interested in seeing the powers because that was I think the main drawback with the first game that a lot of people were complaining about was like the lack of force powers you can
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah.
And this one looks like you're gonna either have more force combat or combat in general, more options, or more force powers. Because I didn't want nothing like crazy like the Force Unleashed, but I did want more options to do stuff.
Hmm.
The game felt very safe.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
know, but it looks really good. I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do with the story and everything like that. So that's why I'm. That's the main focal point I'm really focused on, is seeing where they're going to take this story.
Hmm.
Because as we all know, this takes place like between 3 and 4, or right after 4, I believe, right before 4. So I'm seeing where they're going to do with Cal's character and
It's
everything of that nature. So
actually it's a few years before four, so I'm actually that's the thing I'm interested in is like how close up do they take this series of games up to the beginning of the fourth movie,
hmm
because like obviously Cal's a new character that we'd never seen before, so
yeah,
um it will be interesting to see, do they have him doing things during the fourth movie at some point, maybe not in this game but maybe in the next one. It's like he's doing things concurrently. That would be very interesting. But I think I mean it's I'm definitely gonna play this when it comes out. It's coming out in March, so it is not that far away, and it looks good. I think it. I'm hoping they expand on the combat system, kind of like what you were talking about. It looks like they're adding. There's gonna be a more heavy emphasis on co-op AI partners, which I don't remember in the first game how much of that there was, but I don't remember there being too much. So I think the game, like, I mean, this series definitely has a lot of potential. I think Respawn has done a good job, did a good job with the first game, and as much as we get back on them for Apex, like they're still a good developer, right? Like it's not like they're an awful developer. They know how to make a solid video game. So you take out the live service element, I think that they can make a very, very, very good game. Um, so yeah. It is interesting how beat down Cal looks in the trailer though. Like,
Yeah,
man,
I do like that.
he's seen some shit, man. Like so that'll be interesting to explore as well. For sure. So and it's coming on March 17th next year. So the first 6 months of next year are looking really fucking packed right now. So all right. Next game that was shown was from the makers of Celeste. It is called Earthblade, and it looks like a 2D Metroidvania style platformer. Not my type of game, generally speaking, but it does look pretty good. Montrell, is any interest for you on this one?
Not really. I'm kind of over the 2D platforming games. I got my Metroid, so
Yeah,
yeah.
me too.
So
Me too. Me too. Okay, moving on. Next game was Dune Awakening. This is from Funcom, I believe. They are making a. They called this a survival MMO in the Dune universe. So,
yep, I was super excited for the game, and then they said
and
that, and
then
I was
they
like,
said
ah,
that, and
yep,
you're out, right? Yeah, me
yeah, I'm
too.
out.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, not very interested in that. Especially coming
yeah,
from Funcom, they are a fucking terrible game publisher. I don't give a shit. Like they've never done a good job on any game I've played of theirs. So um, yeah. After that, there was a Forspoken trailer. There is a demo out, which actually I think Marshall, you said you played, right?
yeah.
How was that? You think this game has a
I
chance?
didn't give it a fair chance, so I'm going to refrain from playing
Okay.
it. But from what I did experience, I wasn't too super excited for it.
Hmm.
It's definitely going to be one of those games you have to learn. And I would say if you're going to play this game, don't come off another action game because it's like it's so different from other traditional action games.
Yeah.
Because you're a spellcaster.
Hmm.
But the way they do things is like really different.
Yep.
So like me coming from God of War playing this, like the controls felt really, really fucking weird. So
Hmm.
I'm willing to give them another chance after like that shit wears out of my brain.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
All right, fair enough. And then after this, there was our next big trailer. This was another big one. Was Death Stranding 2 is real and it is coming. And I don't know much to say about it. I didn't play the first game. Montreal, you didn't either. Um, but any thoughts on this one?
Uh, I mean, he does a good job of advertising this game. So
Oh yeah, no, people were hyped, dude. This
yeah.
seems like a series that's it's established now.
Well, they did just
Um,
announce that along with this, they didn't do it in the Game Awards, but they did announce there's a Death Stranding either I think movie or TV show. I think it's a movie coming.
mhm.
So that's a thing that's going to
Yep.
be happening as well.
Um, Norman Reedus is going to be in this game again as well. So his character looked way way older in the trailer. So
Hmm.
some time has clearly passed. Kojima did say while he was on stage too that he apparently rewrote this entire game after the pandemic hit. So which is very interesting. But clearly, I would imagine set them back in terms of their scheduling, getting this game
Yeah.
out. So I wouldn't expect this game for at least a couple of years, probably. More than likely, we didn't get any kind of date or anything like that for it. But this was a big announcement, though. This is pretty sure this is going to be another PlayStation exclusive. So, um, you know, this will be
Did the
um,
first one sell really well? I mean, I know it
no,
sold millions, but like,
it was like 5 million, maybe.
'cause I'm just wondering when he getting this funding from all these actors. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sony doesn't care. I think it's just a prestige thing, dude. Like you want this game on your platform, just because it's Kojima, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like him and Miyazaki at this point, and then I'd even maybe put Ken Levine in this category. Like they're big fucking names in video games,
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me that Sony would be willing to um uh foot the bill for an expensive game like this, even if it doesn't necessarily sell like crazy, you know. But
Yeah.
it does at the end of the trailer though. It does say PS5, so it is definitely an exclusive. Not surprising, but they are. I mean, they are working on something for Microsoft too. So whether we know that's a game or not, I don't know. But we know that is happening for sure. So kind of see what comes of that. All right. After that, the next game that was shown was called Immortals of Avium. This looks like some kind of maybe
I don't
live
know
service game.
because we had a fucking trailer instead of gameplay, which
Yeah.
I'm so tired of this shit. Like,
I'm kind of just assuming it's a live service game of some sort.
yeah,
It's kind of my thought. But yeah, there's really nothing to say about it.
or
I
like a
mean,
card game or something like that. They usually do this for like
yeah.
card games or shit
Well,
like that.
half the trailer was just a bunch of like gears moving around and shit. Like it was
Yeah,
it was like, all right, cool. So it's just kind of an announcement of a game. All right. After that was Tekken 8. This was they called it a gameplay reveal, but I don't didn't really see a ton of gameplay in here.
yeah, that was weird because the first trailer they dropped had more gameplay. It was
Yeah,
straight gameplay actually.
for sure. Yeah. And it was mostly a cinematic trailer. It was very short.
Yeah,
They didn't give a release date or anything like that. So, but are you have you played Tekken before?
I played Tekken 1 through 4, and then I stopped playing.
Okay.
I stopped playing Tekken. I was primarily a Soul Calibur player, and then obviously
Gotcha.
Tekken blew up, so Soul Calibur's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. All right. And after that, the next thing shown was called Nightingale. It is a kind of a weird game. Looks
Yeah.
like it's a first-person game, and it takes place in some alternate 1800s period. But there's
Oh,
very
it's
weird.
a survival game. It's a
Oh,
survival game.
okay.
Yeah.
But there's like weird eldritch shit happening in this
Yeah.
world. So,
Yeah, you
uh,
can build your fort, you can hunt, you can
yeah,
fish, and
you're right.
everything.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
a survival game.
I like forgot because I
Yeah, no,
don't.
I was watching a trailer and
Yeah.
I just kind of saw it. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a survival game, which is I don't know. I don't want to rant on survival games. I think every survival game that we play that I see is never a true survival game. If that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Like I don't know.
Well, there's
I
also
want.
too many of them.
Yeah, I just want to build in a world where like it's me and my friends, but like we build a world or whatever, and then like we have our own little corner of the world, but like a camp can come over there and fuck with us or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. And I guess there are a lot of games like that, but it's just like there's just
Hmm.
one idea of what a survival game in my head is, and like none of those games that I've seen so far have
Do
that
that.
idea what a survival game is. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. After that, there was a Baldur's Gate 3 trailer. I believe they had a release date at the very end of this.
This game
Uh,
looks really fucking good. Like the graphics do at least.
yeah, it's August 2023. It's a release month, not a date. So, this game's been in early access for a while. It definitely does look good. Larian obviously has had a lot of success with CRPG style games with Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. So this game will probably be very solid. I would expect, but um, these games are very involved. They're just gotten really hard for me to get into at this point in my life. Like they're
I
so
thought you
fucking.
would like this.
No, I mean I love the style of game, dude. Like these games are fucking awesome, but it's just they're so deep, dude. Like there's so much. Generally speaking, there's like so much lore, content, dialogue. It's. I mean, they're oftentimes like a 80 to 100 hour game, at a minimum,
Hmm.
and it's like I don't have it in me to keep going into games that are that big, all the
Yeah.
time, like back to back to back to back all the time, and it's like every fucking game is that big, so I have to like cut some of them. And this, unfortunately, these kind of get cut. I've never played a Divinity Original Sin 2. I tried to boot it up a couple years back, and I just like literally could not get myself into it, and it just wasn't grabbing me. So we'll see. I just don't know if Larian like makes the style of game that I like in that genre because I did play and beat Divinity Original Sin 1, and while it is a good game, I didn't think it was as great as everybody else thought it was. It's a solid, very solid entry in the genre, but it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't fully grab me. So yeah, I don't know. I think that might have held me off with that studio with Divinity Original Sin 2 and now Baldur's Gate 3, but we'll see. I mean, they make quality games though, so it's not like it's going to be bad. It just might not be to my taste. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's
um
understandable.
yeah. All right, moving on was Wayfinder. This is definitely a live service game.
Yeah,
um some kind of I don't know, fucking wave based co-op multiplayer fighting game where you there's RPG elements and shit and different character classes and it's like
yeah. It looks like
whatever, dude.
a MMO but wave based.
Yeah. Like maybe
So
instance based or mission based,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think it's more so instance based,
like
like
Destiny
the old
style.
school. Yeah, I was even thinking more like the old school. Have you ever played like I think it's called Dragon's Nest
Yeah.
that Nixon had? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It looks
Mm,
on par with that.
okay.
Um,
But
in my opinion.
I'm just so sick of all these live service games, dude. Like
Yeah,
it's just everybody's just trying to get one of these and it's just all right. This is like the new wave MMO, like from back in the day when everybody was making their own fucking MMOs and they would all fail.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
these games are to me now, and they're just like this game looks so fucking generic. I'm sorry. Like I can't get
Well,
myself amped for it.
it's that same like stylish. And you know what was funny about that? I remember like a couple years back, we were complaining about that. We were
Mhm.
like, "Hey, man, people need to make more stylish games, stylish like Zelda Breath of the Wild type, whatever,
Mhm.
whatever." And it's
Yeah.
like now everybody's doing it, and it's almost like corny looking. Like I don't know how to
It's like they're trying to
describe
make
it.
dude, they're trying to make it look like League almost. I'm like,
Either
oh,
League or Overwatch, they won't make their own style. Like
yeah,
that's the thing
man.
that's irritating me,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, dude, you know
Uh
what's fucked up? One of the characters in the trailer has the voice actress that does Junker Queen. Like, I like heard that in the trailer, and I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. And the character like almost kind of looks like Junker Queen a little bit, like has like that, that like that female like kind of like spiky hair that's like almost like a
yeah,
mohawk style, it's like and that's
yeah,
Junker Queen too. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like it's like so stupid, man. So I was like, whatever. So, but I don't know. I'm sure somebody's excited about it, but
yeah,
um,
exactly.
all right, let's move on. The next game that was shown was Fire Emblem Engage, which is coming out imminently. I mean, within the next month to 5 weeks or so. I think it's like January 20th.
I keep forgetting this game keeps coming out. I gotta buy
Yeah,
it.
man, it's coming. They announced basically they were announcing a paid DLC pass that's coming with the game, which they didn't do this for Three Houses, and I'm like, man, okay. I sent you an article this morning that was talking about the game. There was like a preview on GameSpot, and they were talking
Yeah,
about the game and that the social elements from Three Houses are like heavily reduced in this game, which I think that's a good thing. But then they were talking about how like the weapon triangle's back, and now they're doing the DLC shit that they used to do in like fucking Fates and Awakening is back, and it's this like at this point this series is like so fucking all over the place, dude. It's like one entry is like really solid and then the next entry is like a big miss, or like one game is designed this way and it has the weapon triangle which is like a humongous core mechanic within Fire Emblem, and then the next game they fucking take it out. It's like I don't what do you like stick with something, guys. Like what are you doing, man? Like I don't feel like they're being iterative with this series. It's just like they're just like
yeah.
fucking pooping out games and whatever. Like,
I really wanted them to build on Three Houses. I
yeah,
didn't want, and maybe this does. We haven't played the game yet, so
yeah,
I'm gonna reserve like criticism.
hmm,
Well, from what you're telling me in the article I read, I really just wanted them to build upon Three Houses. I really like that style.
yeah,
Maybe kind of just streamline a couple of things. Like I am glad they got rid of the social elements, or not rid of it, but like streamlined it.
reduced it. Yeah,
Um,
focus on the combat more. I want more
yeah,
battles. Like that's what I want in Fire Emblem, right? And I
yeah,
think that's where Three Houses eventually lost me. Is I was spending more. I realized eventually that I was spending way more time outside of battle than I was in battle, and that was like really. I was finding it really fucking frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where Fire Emblem is fun, is in the battles, and that's why Radiant Dawn is like my favorite fucking Fire Emblem game, because that game is just packed to the absolute brim with battles. It's just battle after battle after battle after battle. There's like 80 or 100 of them. It's fucking insane. And then you go to like Three Houses and it's like, dude, there's like 20, and then there's a bunch of just like random side battles.
Yeah.
But the game, those side battles are like of varying difficulties depending on where you are in the game and how leveled your party is. So you could just like fucking absolute steamroll some of them because it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're way over leveled for them. So the game balance wasn't there, and it sounds like they may be more focused with this game, which is a good thing to me. But the weapon triangle being back is like a double-edged sword, because as much as I do like that, at the same time I'm wary of it because of what the last time they had it in Fates, it was fucking horrible and ruined the game. Like they made the weapon triangle fucking oppressive, dude. Like if you were using an axe against a sword, you could not hit the person with the sword. It didn't matter how good your character was. It was like you would have a sub 50% hit rate like all the time with an axe versus sword. The same thing with like sword versus a fucking spear, or spear versus axe. Like it was super oppressive in that game. So I hope it's slight, whatever advantages they do give for the weapons. But I don't know. I'm like, again, this is one I'm like tentatively excited for. It's kind of funny. I'm not like, it's really not sinking in how close this game is, because I mean, it is coming very soon. Like, 5 weeks it'll be here. And, to think that we're getting a Fire Emblem game this soon after Three Houses. I mean, Three Houses only came out like what, 3 years ago at this point. So it'll be about 3.5 years or so. So that, I think, in and of itself is, I don't know. It's like cool but concerning at the same time. I don't know. I'm a little wary of intelligence systems too. I just don't know how fully I trust them at this point. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I mean, I
go ahead.
agree. But
Are you gonna play
yeah,
it on
I just
launch?
no, I'm not playing it on launch.
Okay. I think I will, but I'm just not sure yet. I might wait for reviews on this one. So, all right. Anything else you want to say on this?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. We'll move on then. The next trailer was a game called Sky. This one I don't have very much to say on it.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that game Journey. Um,
Yeah, it's from that company, that
oh, it
game
is
company.
okay.
They're
All right,
called
yeah, I
That
may
Game
give it a
Company.
shot then. I
Yeah,
know it's free to play or something like that. I really did like Journey,
I
so I
never
may
played
give this one
Journey.
a shot too. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
was a really fun game.
I never played Journey. So,
Yeah, it was just kind of cool at the time because some random person can join you and then they
yeah,
journey with you. It
I
was
know
really
what it
cool.
is. Yeah, I know what it
Yeah.
is. I think the thing is, I heard so much about it that I kind of just like experienced it through
Oh, through other people.
everybody else like talking about it so fucking much that I'm like, I mean, at this point, this game has been talked about ad nauseum. I'm not gonna have the experience everybody else had.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah,
magic is just not gonna be there for me. So I just never
yeah.
bothered. But it looks weird. It's there looks like there's gonna be like concerts and shit in it, and like I don't know. It's an interesting concept. So um, we shall see. All right. Moving on. The next big trailer was a Diablo 4 trailer. And this was another cinematic trailer. There was no gameplay in here. I mean, it was a cool cinematic, but I don't have a
It
lot to
it was
say.
it was. This is see this is why I hate Blizzard, right? Because you can tell their inspiration, bro. When you watch the trailer, what vibes did you get?
Mm,
I got strong Warhammer vibes. I'm like, this is Warhammer. Like
yeah,
this
I
is
get. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, dude, to be honest with you, that is their inspiration. Blizzard has always been
yeah,
inspired by Warhammer. Warcraft is literally their version of Warhammer. Like it's like Warhammer, the normal Warhammer, not the 40K version.
another 40K version.
And StarCraft is like 40K. You know,
Yeah,
Because the Zerg are like the Tyranids, and then you've got the Marines, and the Terrans are like the Space Marine,
Hmm.
like they're literally very similar design, so they've
Yeah,
always been
the
inspired
big
by
shoulders
that.
and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then
yeah, but
Diablo is
that's
like the Chaos demons and shit, right?
yeah, and I understood that inspiration, even though I never played Warhammer or never been involved in the franchise. Even when I
Yeah.
first started playing like World of Warcraft, and my first
Hmm.
entry into Blizzard stuff was StarCraft. Like I was like, oh, this is very reminiscent of the tabletop game. That's what I used to say. I used to call it tabletop game.
Yep.
Um, but like a lot of people will watch this and they don't know the origins of like Blizzard. They don't know
Yeah.
like not the origins of Blizzard, but like Blizzard's main inspiration.
Yeah.
And this was the first trailer. Like I didn't get this vibe from Diablo 3. This was the first trailer. I was like, oh, they are like going old school with this shit. Like I was like, wow, that was very like we remember our roots, like we remember our inspiration type shit. Like
Hmm.
I don't know, it was very cool, even though it was a cinematic trailer, and I hate cinematic trailers because I let this one slide because I already saw the gameplay for it.
Hmm.
But it was just very cool to see that type of like vibe that was back from it. It wasn't like the Overwatch vibe, or it wasn't like, shitty StarCraft 2 vibe. It was like
Yeah.
we know we fucked up vibe and we're getting back to the roots. This is
Yeah.
Diablo 4, y'all. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
We did get a date though, release date. It's coming on June 6th,
Yeah,
next
I'm
year.
I, I'm actually buying this day one. Like I'm
I
on it day
mean,
one.
dude, our friends are. I think this is an obvious co-op game for us.
Yeah.
I don't think we're avoiding it as much as they're showing a little reticence lately with it. They don't. They're like, oh, I don't trust Blizzard. Oh, I want the game to be Diablo 2, but look better. It's like, but they're not gonna get that. But they never were. But I still think they're gonna play it day one. Um, so yeah, I think we're gonna be forced into playing it probably because that's all they're gonna play for like fucking 3 weeks. But I am excited for it. I mean, I personally think actually what they're going to be doing with it is, it looks good to me so far. So, um, for somebody that's like really big into ARPGs, so
Hmm.
looks good to me. All right, moving on. We got another Sony announcement that came. A Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores trailer. So Aloy is going to Los Angeles. Whoopee!
Oh,
Blah, blah,
she
blah, blah.
going she's going to whatchamacallit,
Well,
California.
she's going to fucking Hollywood, man.
Yeah. That's
What?
that's California,
Yeah, I said
isn't
L.A.
it?
Right?
Yeah, Los Angeles. Oh, I thought you said Las Vegas. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Los
Yep, you're
Angeles.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Los Angeles.
She's
Yeah.
going to Cali.
I thought you said Las Vegas.
Okay. I thought it was like, am I crazy? I said L.A.
Yeah, yeah, you said LA. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no. So yeah, she's going to LA. Cool. I don't give a shit. I'm not fucking playing this.
I
I'm
saw
sorry.
I saw a meme, and it was this dude holding a dog, right? And the
Yeah.
dog, it looked like it was a pit bull bred, but it clearly wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
it clearly was a puppy and wasn't vicious. And the dude was holding it like he was trying to be hard with it. And the
Mm-hmm.
caption was like, he tried this motherfucker trying to make this dog look so hard. And then, and then somebody said, this is PlayStation with Horizon. And it's like, yeah, they tried so hard to make this motherfucker look hard. And I'm like, that's
Dude,
how I feel about Horizon. They're really trying to put it like
they
up
do.
there.
They think Horizon is like a mega blockbuster franchise, and it's not. I'm sorry. It's not. It's just not. It's not God of War. It's not Spider-Man. It's not even The Last of Us. Like, it's not any of that shit, man. It's not Halo. It's not in that echelon, Sony. And I don't know what it's gonna take for them to finally, like, for it to finally sink in, because they are going fucking all in on this franchise, dude. Because you got this DLC coming out. I'm sure Horizon 3 is already in development. And then
Mhm.
you've got a fucking MMO potentially being made by fucking NCSoft. And then you've got the VR game. And there's a fucking potentially, I think there was like a TV show that was being thrown around or some shit. Like, dude, Horizon's
I
not this
just
good, man. Like, it's not
you
this
you
good
know
to
what?
justify all this. Like,
You know what? I think it would make a good TV show.
yeah.
I think so. That's the only thing I think would make a good
I
TV
actually,
show.
I actually don't disagree with you, but it's like, but the thing is,
I would I
with
would be
it
more
in,
interested in TV show than the video game. Like
yeah. Well, that's where the video game is good, right? The story in Horizon is pretty good for the most part. The lore and
Mm,
everything they've built, the world they've been is really interesting. As much as I think the second game like stumbles insanely hard in the very final act in that game. Overall, the second game has a pretty strong story for the most part. You know, so it's like I just wish they'd chill. Do we need all this Horizon stuff? No, dude. Does this game need a giant DLC pack? No, dude. No, the first game didn't either. Frozen Wilds, like, I didn't even play Frozen Wilds, and I don't care. I'm never gonna play Frozen Wilds. Like, dude, it's like they literally marketed it as a side story that takes place like during the main game, and it's like, okay, so there's no point in doing this. Like it doesn't take
Mhm.
place after the game. I'm sure Burning Shores will probably take place after the main game is over. I would guess probably, but even given that, dude, I don't have it in me. What is this going to be like 50 hours? I don't have it in me for another 50 hours of Horizon, man. Like I don't like the game that much. Like it's fun, but it's like not that fucking fun. So I don't know, but we're going to keep getting it whether we want it or not. So it's coming next year. All right, let's move on to the next trailer. This was one you were sending me. You sent me a video about it. Blue
Mhm.
Protocol, and yeah, this one to me screamed Genshin Impact clone.
I didn't get that. It's an MMO.
I totally got that vibe, dude.
That's interesting. I thought it was gonna be an MMO.
I
At
mean,
least
it
that's how they
might, it might
advertised it.
be, it might be, but I don't think it
Because
is,
they
dude.
have roles and they were like, oh, this is a tank role. He can tank stuff, and I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, well, this is actually going to be an MMO type
like
deal.
maybe it'll have a more higher emphasis on co-op, but Genshin Impact could have a higher emphasis on co-op if it wanted to. It just
I
doesn't.
keep forgetting that game has co-op. That's
Yeah,
crazy. I
I
forgot
mean,
that game has
yeah,
co-op.
it does have co-op, and you can do co-op on most activities in the game. It's just you don't have to. Like, it's not a requirement. It sounds like in this game it might be a requirement, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be some fucking gotcha game, dude. Like, like I don't know. I got a hard vibe of that from this when I was watching it. I was like, I mean, it looks
No,
strong,
because I've
but
been following the game, and there are roles you pick. Like
yeah,
there aren't like
yeah, but
characters you unlock. There are roles and armor you get and everything like
okay,
that.
that
So
dude, it doesn't have to be characters. A gotcha game could be anything. They could make you roll for weapons, like fucking Genshin Impact does that. So, like, I don't know. I'm gonna withhold judgment until we see more. But that's the vibe I was getting. So we'll see. Uh, but I mean, if it's not that, dude, then it looks good, and honestly, I might be down to play it. For sure. It looked pretty solid. So
yeah, it looks pretty good. I don't know. I'm still in. I always get like really antsy with anime games. So I'm like, it looks really cool. The combat, the animations look cool, but like,
can't trust them.
yeah, you just can't.
All right. Next game was, I believe, Remnant is what it's called. This looked like a third person shooter Monster Hunter game. Something like
Yeah,
that.
it's a third person, like it's a third person shooter, Dark Souls
Oh,
like game.
Remnant 2
Yeah.
actually
So
is.
the first one's already out. It plays like Dark Souls with guns.
Yeah.
That's what it's known for. That's the best way. Even the developers kind of describe it their way. That way, it's
Mhm.
Dark Souls with guns. Um, I heard it was pretty good actually, so I'm glad it's getting a part two. I actually never got around to this game. I wanted to play this game, but I just never got around to it. I have it on Steam, so that's which
Okay.
is hilarious.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, not my type of game, but looked fairly interesting. All right. Moving on. The next game was, hold on. Just going through the video here. It's kind of difficult. Um I don't know
Uh,
the name of it, but
it,
it was a cinematic trailer.
yeah, was it the Banisher or Behemoth?
Yes. No, not Behemoth. It was a game where there's like a city getting sieged by all these like fucking alien looking mech creatures.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they really didn't show like the fucking. They showed the
Title.
title of that.
I think they did. I mean, I'm going through the trailer right now. I can't get like a place for it.
Well, it was a
So
cinematic trailer, so I kind of ignored it because like I said, if
yes.
it's a newer game that we never seen before, like I need
Oh,
to
it
see
was
gameplay.
Transformers.
Oh, that's what it
Transformers
was. Yep.
reactivate. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Transformers game. Cool. Yeah, like you said, it's a cinematic trailer. My eyes kind of glaze over on those a lot
Yeah.
of the time at this point. So I am gameplay is king. Show us gameplay, everybody. Please. All right. Next game was Company Heroes 3. This
Which is
was
already out.
yes, but it is coming to consoles. And this was another cinematic trailer. Why would you show RTS gameplay? Because nobody wants to see that, right? It's just so weird to me that companies like advertise their games and they don't show gameplay. It's like they're embarrassed of their game. I just never
Well, this is a
understand it.
first-person shooter.
Is it? No, it's
Yeah,
not. Isn't
I
Company
believe it
Heroes?
is.
No, Company Heroes is an
Hold on,
RTS,
maybe
dude.
I'm looking at a different game. Hold on. I downloaded it on Steam.
Yeah, no. Company Heroes 3 is a real-time strategy game developed by
Oh,
Relic
I'm thinking about
Entertainment.
Heroes and Generals. That's what the fuck I'm thinking about. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Actually, I don't think this is out. It says initial release date is February 2023. So this
Yeah,
game
okay.
is
So yeah,
not
I was
is
thinking
not
about a
out.
different game, y'all. Yeah,
But again, to my point, this is an RTS, real-time strategy game, right? It's an isometric game where you're fucking building an
bro.
army, building a
They
base, and you don't show that at all. Like I don't it's just I don't understand that, you know?
Justin,
Like do you think
you
people are going to get fooled by that? Like they're not going to go find out that it's an RTS? Like show that it's an RTS.
Justin. In defense of this cinematic trailer, I will say since the dawn of RTSs,
Mhm.
they have never shown gameplay. Never.
Yeah, but why?
I mean, because it's an RTS. I like RTS. I love it. But like
Then why
people,
even advertise it? Then why even advertise it? Why bother advertising it? Dude, this drives me crazy. You know, it's like,
they did it with Warcraft. They did it with Warcraft. They did it with StarCraft. They did it with uh the Tom Clancy or the Ubisoft game. What's the fuck that game called? God damn it.
um,
Tom Clancy. I don't think it's a Tom Clancy's game, but
well, I'm
it's an
thinking of Command and
Ubisoft game.
Conquer. They do it with that too. I think
They did it with Command and Conquer. They did it with
they probably did it with Age of Mythology.
they did it with Age of Mythology.
Okay, but you know
They
what?
definitely did it with
No,
Halo.
Age of
Halo
Empires though is a good example. They fucking show gameplay in their trailers, even if there is
well,
some
Age of
cinematic elements
Empires
to it.
is like a staple, bro. Like everybody knows Age of Empires
I
is.
mean, so is StarCraft.
Yeah, but I'm just saying back in the day, they did do
No,
this.
but that
This was a thing.
okay, but that's kind of my point. I like who are they trying to fool? You know, it's like you're showing a trailer for a game that is like a cinematic of people running around fighting in a fucking war zone. You know, but you're making it look like a shooter. It's not a shooter. You know, like you thought it was a shooter. It's not a shooter. It's an RTS. Like,
Yeah, I actually got it confused with another game called Heroes and Generals. That's a shooter, and it's the same time period.
but yeah, I don't know. It just drives me crazy. It just drives me a little crazy. Like, I don't know. It's just an industry that's embarrassed by its own product. It's fucking weird. Like,
No, you're right. They definitely have product insecurity. Like they don't like to show their
no, I think the
gameplay.
people that work in marketing departments at game studios don't play video games. Like I almost
I
like
mean,
fucking
that
guarantee
that
you.
that much is obvious. I mean, have you seen the Halo 5 trailer? Like
Yeah, dude, you're right. Totally, man. Oh, that was a travesty of a fucking
fucking trailer was more interested in the goddamn game. Like
You're right. No, that was definitely true. That was a big controversy. I remember that. Like fucking IGN wrote like this huge article about it.
yes,
Like
they deserved it. Like
yeah.
every bit of backlash was deserved from that. And you're right. I don't think they play the games. They give them some story beats, and
Hmm.
they like go crazy. Uh, that was probably the worst part. That was the worst marketing advertising I've ever seen. Like
Hmm.
at all. It was crazy. But
All
yeah,
right.
you're right. So yeah,
Yeah.
RTS is. marketing department, they don't mix
Just
because
show a
they
little bit of the
probably
gameplay at the end. You can have a cinematic trailer, just show a little bit of it, like don't
you
fucking
know what they can do? They can show like the explosions that happen and when you blow up a tank or some shit.
dude,
Like
you can make an RTS look cool. Okay.
yeah, you
I'm
can.
sorry. You can make an RTS look cool. Dude, like think about like the fucking nukes in like, StarCraft. Or I'm
Yeah,
sure like Command and Conquer has that shit and like, it's like, dude, that I'm sure that fucking looks awesome. It's like, I don't know, dude. It's just
yeah.
like this
Use
is
a
my
cinematic
point.
camera.
No, this is my point. Like do they think about this practically? Like, okay, let's say this works on somebody who doesn't know the game or the series or doesn't know it's an RTS, right? And they're interested in it. And then they type it in Google and then they see screenshots of it and videos of it. Do you think you're gonna trick somebody into buying this game? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. So
I think the isometric games, like, and when I'm talking about like MOBAs too,
yeah.
because League of Legends does that. Like, if you ever turn off your ad blocker and you're watching like regular
God.
videos and stuff like that, and League of
Yeah.
Legends pops up, they just show like the cinematic trailers. Like, it'll be a 5v5 match, but it's like oh, super cool and already jumping from tower to
It's like
tower doing
and
magic moves.
yeah.
Yeah, man, it looks like Overwatch. I'm like, holy shit, this is. And then you play and you play you look at the League of Legends gameplay, and you see people screaming. It's the kind of buy the item where jungler didn't come.
Yeah, dude. Anti-marketing. They should just show that like random clips of voice audio from their games. That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, but they all do that. I think it's just isometric games that are like
Yeah.
really embarrassed by it. I think the only game that doesn't really do it is Diablo. But even Diablo, I mean, we saw that cinematic trailer. If somebody was like, "Yo, wow, that looks really fucking cool," am I going to be fighting in the front lines with people? And it's like, nah, you're not even gonna be touching those people until like
Dude, those
late game, bro.
NPCs aren't even gonna be there. You're not gonna see any of them. All you're gonna see are hordes of demons. That's it, dude. That's
Exactly.
all you're gonna see. Like that's my point. Like I just like it's so misleading. They just mislead people, dude. Like I don't know. It's annoying, but whatever. Tangent over. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move
The next
on.
trailer was Behemoth. This one I don't.
The VR, it's a VR game.
Yeah.
But it was a cinematic trailer, so I don't have anything to say about
Yep.
it.
100%. Totally. Well, there was maybe a little bit of what you could classify as gameplay in there, but yeah, not enough for me to care. All right. Next thing, Fall Guys season whatever. We need to go back to that game at some point. That game is
Yeah, that shit was fun as hell.
that game is super fun. All right, and then after that, was Banisher's Ghost of Eden. This is from Don't Nod, which are the team that make Life is Strange with Square Enix. So this is going to be interesting. This is seems like a departure from their style. It's going to be more of an action game, I think.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this one?
Uh, it was a cinematic trailer, but it looks like it was in gameplay engine because they showed gameplay at the end, but it was only like a snippet of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it.
And the characters seems like they have some kind of ghost following them around and talking to them and whatnot. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. After that, we got a Warhammer 40K Space Marines 2
Yeah, man. Y'all
gameplay
play Space
reveal.
Marines 1? Yeah.
Well, so okay, I heard that this is not made by because they're a completely different company made Space Marine 1, and what I'm confused about is that whether this is actually a sequel to that game or not.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I would assume it is because it's got 2 in the title, but the company that made the first one is a completely different company, so which is weird. But yeah, it kind of just looks like third person Vermintide, so whatever.
Oh,
Uh
don't do that. This game looks really good. Don't do that. The first one was kind of revolutionary for what it did. It kind of combined like action elements with like Gears of War elements and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very, very surprisingly good game. and
Mm-hmm.
that was my actual first introduction to the 40K universe was the
Mm-hmm.
Space Marines because I played the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So I am very interested in Space Marines too. Hopefully it does the same. It does the justice that the first one did, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. But
All
yeah,
right.
don't do Vermintide, man. Don't.
I appreciate you protecting me like that. Fucking, fucking Vermintide. I mean, to be honest though, like when I see that kind of style of game, I mean, it
I
is
think
kind of what it looks
Vermintide
like,
just really
man.
turned you off 40K in general.
I mean, I'm not a huge 40K fan, period.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I prefer Blizzard's style, of that like style of sci-fi or
Hmm.
fantasy with Warcraft. I just prefer what they did with those versus Warhammer. I just
Yeah,
I don't.
Warhammer is very edgy for no reason.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know, and
Yeah.
it like takes itself seriously, but then it doesn't at the same time, and I just don't. It just doesn't work for me for some reason. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I actually watched like a hour and a half lore video on it and everything, and
Yeah.
uh yeah, it just seems very. I felt miserable by the time I got done with the video. Even though the lore is very interesting, it just seems like there's no hope for anybody. I'm
Yeah.
just like, why would you want to live in this world? This is a fucking terrible world. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And I think like I tried to play Total War Warhammer, and I just couldn't get into it, man. I just don't care about any of the races or factions. And they just don't I don't know why. They don't look appealing to me.
Yeah, because
So
it's really that like old school, medieval, almost sci-fi, dark fantasy type stuff. And
mhm.
I don't really think you like dark fantasy stuff anyway, in general. Like you tend to not gravitate towards that.
No. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's
Because
almost like
Dark Souls and
it's almost
Elden
like
Ring is
low
like dark
fantasy,
fantasy. Yeah,
rather than high fantasy, but
yeah.
yeah, no, you're right. Like Dark Souls style, that like gothic, look, which Warhammer does have some of that for sure. It's not as extreme as Dark Souls, but yeah,
It's actually more extremer. It is.
in some
Shit
ways, I guess.
they show in fucking Warhammer is crazy. But yeah.
Yeah.
So what about the next game?
So yeah, the next game is Meet Your Maker. It looks like some kind of level based, I
First
don't know,
person shooter.
third person game.
That was first person. They showed gameplay
Is
at
it
the end.
first person?
Yep.
Oh, okay. The trailer is kind of weird the way it's structured.
Yeah.
Because there are parts where the camera's like behind the character, but
Yeah, it looks like somebody can build a raid facility
yep,
and then other people can go through that raid facility. That's what it
yep,
looks like.
yep,
So that's cool.
yep. People can like build levels and stuff, I think,
Yeah.
too. So, which not my kind of thing, but looks interesting. All right. This is another Warhammer thing is Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl 3, which is like their weird like football, like American football fucking game within the Warhammer universe. Um
But it plays like XCOM.
yeah. Okay. I've never played one of these, so wasn't
Yeah.
sure, but yeah. Probably not my kind of thing either, as much as I like tactical games, but it does look funny.
Yeah.
So, you have any interest in it?
Nah, unfortunately I don't.
Okay. Moving on. The next one. This one was fucking hilarious. So Crash. Somebody in a Crash Bandicoot suit comes out, on stage and announces a new Crash game, and it's not a single player. It's not a single player game. It's a fucking multiplayer, fucking multiplayer game. That's like I don't know, some kind of weird brawler that they're doing,
Yeah,
and
it's Super Smash Brothers, but fucking
Crash. Like, do you get
Crash.
this? Do you get this at all? Like, I don't understand why they're doing this at all.
No, I don't. It looks like a 4 player. What the hell? Okay. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know. The
it's not even
trailer.
like Smash, dude. It's like an open, like it's kind of like an open. It's not like a flat like 2.5D. Like it's
Yeah.
like open 3D. And it's like a
Yeah.
four
This is
v.
like
It's a 4v4 game.
yeah, this actually looks different from like a lot what other people are doing. I'm interested in it, to be honest with you. It looks really interesting. I
I
don't
just don't know if there's like,
I don't
is
think there's
this?
an audience for it.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was
yeah,
gonna say. Are people who are fans of Crash like really looking for this kind of thing? Like, I don't think so, but
uh,
we shall see. It's being made by Toys for Bob, so yeah, we'll see how that one does. All right, moving on. The next thing showed was a Lords of the Fallen trailer.
all right. So you got to get it right because there is another game called Lords of the Fallen.
Yes,
This one is called The Lords of the
yes,
Fallen.
that's
So
correct.
we do have to specify that, and I'm not joking.
I'm glad you called that out because I would have totally missed that. No, he's 100% right. There is Lords of the Fallen, which I think is made by, is that Bandai?
I don't know who that's made by.
Okay.
It's a Dark Souls like game,
Yeah,
for sure. But I don't know who that's made by.
I'll look it up. Yeah, it is Bandai. I was right. So
Okay.
yeah, Lords of the Fallen is Bandai. The Lords of the Fallen is, I'm not sure who, but
Oh wait,
um
okay. This one says the Lords of the Fallen. God damn it.
yeah, the one they showed at the Game Awards is the Lords of the Fallen.
Okay. So the Lords of the Fallen game is actually not made by Bandai. It's made by but maybe I'm looking at something. I'm on a wiki page, but it doesn't tell me who it's made by. Oh,
The,
okay. It's an action role playing game made by Deck 13 and
yes.
CI Games.
Okay, maybe the new one is Bandai.
Yeah, this is the one. The Lords of the Fallen I'm thinking of is made by a Polish video game developer. These are guys best known for Sniper Ghost Warrior,
Yep. Yep.
and then so that's the original Lords of the Fallen, and then the Lords of the Fallen. I don't know who that's made by.
Well, hold on. The Lords of the Fallen is
Is the
also
newest
published
one
by CI Games. Actually, the developer is
really?
Hexworks, and it is
So are
coming
they
in
remaking
2023.
the game?
I don't know. These are, I believe you're correct. These are different things. They're not the same thing, dude. So I don't know
Okay,
if
okay.
somebody can. If
So
somebody could,
I'm just looking at this article. So
yeah.
it said The Lords of the Fallen is a sequel to the 2024 is a 20 the 2014 action RPG of the same name.
Okay. So it's the same franchise, but it's named
Oh my
differently.
god, this is like a Wii U
All right.
situation, bro.
If somebody knows the details of this, please write in. I don't like. I don't know. I don't care about the series, so I'm not interested. I mean, do you have any interest?
No,
Okay,
because
fair
the
enough.
first one wasn't really good.
Yeah, no, it did not do very well. So,
Yeah,
all right, let's move on. The next thing they showed, there was like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Raids trailer, and there
which
was
is
Montreal.
interesting. I would have never thought they would have done a raid. That's very interesting.
What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what it means either. It's like a raid, like there's raid quote unquote mechanics. Anything that has mechanics in the level to get to the final boss is a raid now.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Fair enough. And then we got to kind of the final stretch here. So there was a bunch of awards, and then it was Cyberpunk 2077, the DLC Liberty City. The second trailer was shown.
not gonna
Um,
lie, it looked pretty good. Not gonna
yes,
lie.
and Idris Elba is going to be playing a character in it as well,
Yeah.
which is always cool. He's awesome. So, um, I don't know. I mean, I haven't played. I'm like, I think I'm gonna wait probably till this is out to play Cyberpunk. I definitely want to play Cyberpunk, but um, I'm just not there yet with it because the next
Yeah.
gen update still hasn't come up out for that yet, right?
Don't think so. Don't quote me on that. I gotta ask DJ because he's like the cyberpunk connoisseur now. So
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it's come out either. But this DLC is coming in 2023.
got
So
so many fucking stars. How do they get so much money? Jesus. Jeez.
what, Cyberpunk? I mean, the game
Yeah.
sold like fucking 20 million copies, dude, or whatever. It's fucking crazy. It sold like crazy despite the controversy. So, but all right, let's move on. The next trailer, this was Montrell's moment right here, baby. The next FromSoft game was announced, and Jeff was almost brought to tears when he was announcing it. And it is Armored Core 6. And
It finally arrived. It was a cinematic trailer. Didn't show any
cinematic
gameplay.
trailer.
I was
Yep.
upset about that, but the simple fact that we are getting the Armored
It's
Core
official.
after years of fucking Soulsborne shit. Thank God.
I mean, what has it been? 10 years?
No, bro. I think
12?
so. 12. I think it's about 12 years.
Yeah. It was like PS3, right? Was the
Yeah,
last one
the
that came
last
out?
game was the last game I have it. I'm actually looking at it right now. It was Armored Core Verdict Day. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up. Armored Core. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been so long since we had an Armored Core, bro. And yeah. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. 9 years. 9 years.
Okay. Not as long
9
as I
years.
thought then.
Yeah,
2013.
2013.
That's
So,
interesting.
um,
Well,
yeah.
I
So
mean, what are your thoughts, man? What do you
I'm
think?
just glad it's coming. And then they actually did a follow up interview with
Yep.
Miyazaki and everything like that.
Yep.
And it's not gonna be Armored Core Souls. They said it's not gonna be Soulsborne like. And I was
Oh,
just like,
that's music to my ears. I might actually play this game.
I
I've
will
always
tell
been.
people, I tell people, Armored
Yeah.
Core is not for the faint of heart. That
Well,
game
I've
is a hardcore mecha
always,
game.
I've,
It's a
I've
hardcore mecha
always
game.
been interested in Armored Core, and I played Armored Core 4 for like I don't know 4 hours maybe.
Oh
Um,
yeah, verdict, not verdict day, but for day or something like that.
yeah,
For us or something like that.
4 answer I think.
For answer, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
actually my favorite Armored Core. Like that's my
Yeah,
favorite one.
I played that one for like 3 or 4 hours, and it didn't stick at the time. But I mean, that was a long time ago. It was like fucking
Mm,
15 years ago, probably. So I was a different person at that point. I've always been interested in this franchise though, but ever since like From just like fucking abandoned it for Souls, like Dark Souls, I just obviously like there were no new
yeah,
games to play when I actually started thinking about jumping into it. So um, yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. I am down for a hardcore mecha game, like
this is when I say hardcore, people don't understand. You had to pay for the bullets you use. Like this is a hardcore mecha game, yo.
I
They they
love dude,
may
that's
they may
awesome.
tone it down,
Yeah.
but like I remember, I was like,
Nah,
okay, if I
bro.
go into this
Miyazaki's
battle,
a fucking psycho, dude. He is unforgivably like he sticks to his guns, dude. Like he does not sacrifice anything for anyone. Like because think about it. If he was the kind of guy that compromised, there would be an easy mode in Dark Souls games or like Elden Ring
yeah,
by this point. But there's not. There's not, dude. The guy doesn't compromise. I like almost guarantee you will have to pay for bullets in Armored Core 6 if that's like a something that
I'm
you've
kind of
always done in the franchise. Like,
I'm interested to see if they're gonna do that. No one really complained about it. It was just a way of life for us Armored Core players. But like like the game was super hardcore. People used to play their controllers backwards.
oh
Their PS4, their PlayStation controllers backwards. Uh
yeah,
you thought the claw method for fucking Monster Hunter was bad.
yeah. Oh no.
People would literally turn their controllers around and play this game because that was the most optimal way to play the game. And people would do insane things like boost. It was just crazy. Like if you watch, there's
Yeah.
actually a tournament that you can watch. It's still on YouTube. For like for answer and verdict day, and you see how those people play. It's fucking insane. The shit that they do, like it's crazy. They had actual tournaments for this game.
Hmm.
For answer was pretty cool because you can start a clan and then you can take over certain parts of the world, and that your clan symbol will have that part of the world on it, and it was a live action thing, so you can jump into missions, and if you're jumping into missions taking over a base from another clan, that player can actually interrupt your mission, and you will fight them live. Like it was
Oh
like a live,
shit!
yeah, it
Really,
was like
dude?
yeah,
That's sick.
it
Oh,
was
that's
it was a
awesome.
live action, not live action, but it was like a live map. Of
Yeah.
course, everybody can't join, but it was like three of your mechs, three of your teammates will be in there. So it said like 0 3 players are defending this map or this part of the map, and you'll go in there and you'll have NPCs like little target turrets and stuff that you can destroy and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and they'll probably notify the other people like, "Hey, your base is getting attacked," and then other players will join live while it's happening, and then y'all fight for that territory, and then whoever wins that part of the territory. So it was
So
pretty
is there
cool.
is there co-op?
I so I didn't do co-op with people, so I'm
Yeah.
not too sure if there was co-op. But I know. I think one of the Armored Cores did have split screen, so there may be co-op. But when I played
Okay.
For Answer, uh, Armored Core 3 did have split screen. Armored Core 2 or 3, they had split screen. So
Mhm.
it may have co-op in this one. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I yeah, man, it was very cool. Like
Yeah. I've been really big on mecha shit in the strategy genre. So I'm willing to do it in an action sim kind of genre. I think I'll give it a shot. I don't know if it's gonna stick for me, but I'm definitely interested enough to give it a shot. And From is such a different studio from who they were the last time they made an Armor Core game that, like, in terms of the quality of games that they make now, I don't know. This could be like some of the greatest shit you guys have ever seen in this fucking series. So,
yeah, you
uh,
know what I wanted? The game I wanted to be Armored Core, but didn't turn out to be Armored Core, which is
oh
Damon X
yeah,
Machina.
Daemon X Machina, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember they got some of the character designers from the original Armored Core team to do the mechas or
Hmm.
whatever. But yeah, it didn't turn out the way I wanted to. It turned out to be like a Mecha Star Fox game, which was cool. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I was just super excited for it. I was reading the comments, especially like when they did the after post interview and everything, and people were like, "Oh, it's not Soulsborne dropped," and I'm like, "Thank God, get the fuck on, like, bye. We don't want y'all here. Like, this is
Yeah,
not
I
for y'all."
know. We don't
Like,
need them. Yeah, you don't
yeah,
need them.
but then there's a lot of Soulsborne players saying they were willing to try it, and um I was some of them on my timeline were like saying it too, and I was like, I'm being honest with you. I told them, like I told you, like I think the thing I was like, you have to pay for the bullets you use. He's like, really? I'm like, yes, you have to pay. So the missions you take, you are a mercenary. Like it really puts you in the world because you have to think about each mission you put. You have to think about the type of energy this use. Do I want to use this core with this type of legs? How much energy is it going to burn? Okay, if I take this mission for 25 million, damn, how much am I going to spend on that mission fighting this robot? Like it's really in depth. It's not just like Gundam Wing shit. Like that's why I just
Yeah.
hated Gundam like video games because they never really went in depth with the shit. Like this was like, yeah, mechs were real. This is what you got to spend on it because you're a mercenary and you have to buy
Mhm.
each mech and or parts and everything. If you lose, like it's detrimental to you. You're like, it won't set you all the way back, but it's like, fuck, I got set back. Like I got
I
to
think
build
that's
up.
what happened to me, dude. And when I was playing 4, I think I did okay the first few missions, and then I got to the point and I lost like my first mission, and it fucking like ruined me. I had to like go like grind some missions, and I was like,
Yeah.
So, but
A lot of people don't. I don't think a lot of people are ready for that.
yeah,
Now they said they may change it in this one. They may realize that that's not a really good style of gameplay for certain
yeah,
people or
they
for a
could, they
broader
could,
audience.
yeah, they
So
could try to, make it more streamlined for a broader audience. Which, I mean,
yeah,
that might not ruin it.
it's. I don't think it's gonna ruin it at all. I'm just glad we're getting another one. Like
Dude, I think
that's
as
it.
long as the core gameplay is strong, it's not really gonna matter.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So
um, yeah. I mean, I think it's From now at this point, right? Any game they make is probably gonna do pretty well. It might not do Elden Ring well, but it's probably gonna sell copies. So I just think it's cool they're doing this. They don't have to do this, dude. Like they don't have to make an Armored Core game. They never have to do that again, if they don't
yeah,
want to. And I think it's awesome that they're going back to that. Um, yeah, so I did say it was a Miyazaki game. I think he started the development on it and he's jumping off. There's going to be a different director like
yeah.
taking the
So
reins. So,
yeah,
yeah.
so what's funny about Armored Core is he never was the lead person for it. I think
Yeah.
he was like almost like I want to do this, but I'm not. This is not like my dream project. His dream project was Dark Souls,
Dark Souls,
Demon Souls.
Demon
That
Souls.
was his dream, and then eventually that evolved into like Elden Ring. That was his dream. Um, but he did participate in this, and he did help make the franchise in general. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Fair enough. All right. Well, we'll look forward to more news on that one. All right. We only have a couple more trailers to get through. The next one was Wild Hearts. We got another Wild Hearts trailer. I mean, Montrell, what do you think? Are you feeling any hype for this game?
which one is Wild Hearts?
That's the
Oh,
Monster Hunter one
the
from
Monster Hunter.
EA.
I'm still iffy on it. You
You
know
think
how I am
so?
with Monster Hunter clones. Like it has to meet a certain criteria.
There's
Um,
got to be a level of quality it hits, and
yeah,
yeah, based on what
yeah,
we've seen of these trailers so far, I'm
It's
sorry, they're not showing it in a way that makes it look like the quality is high.
yeah. Like
Is
for
yeah.
me, it's like it's a balance of like okay, I like the monster design and the fighting actually. I think the fighting and animations and everything is really quality. But are you gonna make it worth my while with the armor pieces and
Is the
everything like
RPG
that?
systems
Yeah,
underlying it solid? That's a huge question. And then
yeah.
I don't know. I think the thing is like I think that they have shown pretty extensive gameplay, so I'm with you. I think there is definitely. I think that the building shit is the thing that I'm questioning though. Is like how is that interact in the game? Like, is that super important? Do you have to use it all the time? Is it an afterthought kind of thing? Like,
It's
or
like
is
a
it somewhere in the
cooldown.
middle? You know,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I
my
think.
thing is with these type of games is like the armor. Like I
Mhm,
really like to look good when I'm fighting or like skills and
mhm.
combined with the armor and everything like that. And right now, it just looks like traditional Japanese garb, and that's cool. I
Yeah,
don't know,
it's a little overdone in video games though. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the building stuff, that's my biggest concern with that is that it is going to take over the game,
Mhm.
to the point that you don't even need to like, you don't swing your weapons all that much like, and that to me is would be very bad, because the core of these kind of games is fighting.
Yeah.
um I don't need any of this gimmicky bullshit. Like, I don't consider the wire bug gimmicky. It is a well implemented mechanic that enhances the combat in Monster Hunter
No, it was
Rise.
fucking gimmicky the fucking clutch
The
claw. Fuck
clutch
that guy,
claw
man.
was gimmicky as fuck, right? You like that, and it took over the game, right? It like ruined the
it,
game because it
it
like
ruined the game.
it fucking took over the game. You had to do it all the time, constantly, in every fucking
You Okay, I
hunt.
know I know we're not talking about Buzz Hunter or anything, y'all. But
Yeah.
you know what's funny? We called this shit. And if you still listening, thank God. I mean, kudos to you because we're 2 hours
Thank
and
God.
20 minutes in. But what's funny is I wish we were popular, and I know we say this all the time on the podcast, but I wish we
hmm
were popular because we called this shit, Justin. We
hmm
called this shit like a month after Iceborne came out, and we are like, watch, people are gonna fucking hate the clutch claw. People are gonna be like, yo, they're gonna be like fucking uh like Revnik, what's that guy's name? Rezovic type videos
Reykjavik,
on the
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, Rezovic type videos on the clutch claw and why it's bad and the analysis and everything like that. And
Mhm.
lo and behold, boy, YouTube was filling my algorithm up with like current videos getting like 1 million, 2 million views on why the clutch claw in Monster Hunter is bad. And I was looking at Reddit posts and they were all saying the same thing. Man, clutch claw is so fucking bad because it's required to do this and admit it gets damaged. And it was like, I'm like, wow. Remember when I said that and all y'all bagged on me? Y'all said I was terrible at the game. And I'm like, nah, man, I think this is a really bad mechanic. Look at us now.
No, and they don't listen to us with Rise either. Everybody
Oh,
just
it's
sucks.
coming. It's coming. Rise was the start.
Everybody
Rise was the
sucks
start.
that game's dick, dude. And it's like, well, this is the issue. Like, I'm gonna laugh when it comes on PlayStation, right? And it's like not a full game. Like, how do people take that? Because to me, the idea that they're releasing it without Sunbreak at the start is like absolutely laughable. Like, it's
I don't
comical.
know whose decision that was, and
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised I did not see a Monster
yeah,
Hunter Sunbreak
yeah,
trailer at the Game Awards.
yeah. No,
So
they're crazy. So we'll see how Wild Hearts does. I'm kind of with you though, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, if I need to play Monster Hunter, I'm just gonna play Monster Hunter Rise till the fucking title updates are
exactly.
out. Like, once all the title updates are out, that game is gonna be complete, and I think it's gonna be really fun. So
I told somebody that someone was like,
yeah,
"We'll play God Eater 3." I'm like, I don't care if Monster Hunter is
bro.
a fucking. I don't care if Monster Hunter is a fucking pay to win, fucking gotcha system ass game at this point. I would never in my
You're
life
not
play fucking God
you're not
God
stooping to
Eater.
that level, dude. Yeah, no, I know for real. Yeah, no. That's I think to your point about like these like clones, right? These Monster Hunter clones that try to come in, and they've come in for years. And to be honest, the only one that's ever grabbed me to any degree was like Freedom Wars, and
Yeah, yeah, I said the
that
same
game.
thing.
Well, it's funny because that game though, unfortunately, like did not have an end game.
Yeah,
Like there was nothing to do when you beat the game. It was like that was what it was. So they all have issues, but like I think it's like that core quality, right? The gameplay loop needs to be good, and the underlying gameplay. Systems need to be good, and Freedom Wars was like the only one that actually kind of hit that, like hit
Yep.
it a little bit, but it wasn't like a 10, it was like a 7, or maybe a
Yeah,
seven and a
yeah.
half,
It was like if
it's
they made a part 2 to it, like
yes,
it would have hit really good.
which they were developing and then they canceled because the Vita was,
Yeah.
fucking a failure. So, which sucks because I would have loved a sequel to Freedom Wars. That would have been a lot of fun. But, all right, final trailer. This is the one. Final Fantasy 16. Yoshi P came out, talked about it a little bit, and then showed the trailer. And they need to stop showing trailers, man. Like, I'm good, dude. Like, this game looks
Yeah.
fucking incredible. I'm sorry. I know it was a cinematic, but there was actually gameplay in here
Oh, there was
too.
gameplay. There's a lot of gameplay
And
in
it
there
looks
actually.
fucking good, man. It looks fucking good, dude. Like we are so far past the Final Fantasy 15 era, and I'm fucking ready for it. uh, I mean, what
Yeah,
about you?
man.
You hyped, dude?
Final Fantasy 15 tripped and failed and dropped into a river so that this one can fucking, walk and run.
Yeah,
Like that's how I feel, man.
yeah, I'm with you.
And I know y'all may disagree with me. Y'all think Final Fantasy 15 is the greatest Final Fantasy game ever, and it's not. But
No, this game has
this isn't.
combos and moves and abilities, and looks like a
This is what
proper
Final Fantasy
action game.
15 wanted to be, bro. This is what
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 15 wanted to be.
yeah.
And fucking Nomura's not on it no more, so it's like none of that cheesy shit. This is like fucking Yoshi
No,
P.
this is gonna be like Final Fantasy 14, like
Yeah. Yeah,
fucking political drama, like really
yeah, man.
sad shit happening in this game, like this game's gonna make people cry. I like almost guarantee it.
Yeah, and you know what's gonna be funny, right? I mean, I know there's a huge Final Fantasy 14 population, people who played it, but there's also a huge population of people who just never touched Final Fantasy 14, or they played it and never experienced it for the story.
Yeah,
So they're going to be in for a surprise, and they're like, "What the fuck?
yeah,
Like, the story is crazy. Like,
yeah.
play Heaven Sword, bro. Play Heaven Sword. That shit is crazy. I love that fucking
Play
story, bro.
Shadowbringers, man. That shit is
Yeah,
fucking awesome too, dude. Like,
yeah.
no, I
Yoshi
mean,
P's a fucking madman. I gave him shit for the black people comment, but I still respect him though. you know,
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like we said back then too, he got baited into that
he
question,
got made
so
into that. Yeah,
it is what it is. But no, I mean, dude, he knows how to make video games though, and he has, to me, I know Nomura is like an old school fucking, like, he's like chiseled in stone at fucking Square Enix, and he's probably never gonna leave. But to me, Yoshi P is like, if this game hits as hard as I think it's gonna hit, he may eclipse Nomura, at that company for me in terms of like game design, because Nomura is like good, but he's really hit or miss. He's had a
yeah,
lot of really big duds to me, and Kingdom Hearts 3 being the most recent one.
yeah,
It's like not even
yeah,
that long ago. So whereas Yoshi P, like, dude, he honestly, for the most part, doesn't miss. Like he has, yeah, obviously he's only done, Final Fantasy 14, and I don't know what other games he's done for them, but I love that they are expanding his role within the company. To be honest, so um, I think that's awesome. So very excited for this game. June 22nd next year. June is gonna be fucking packed because Diablo comes out 2 weeks before that, and then there's one other big game coming out in June too that I'm blanking on right now, but we will go over all of that in a few weeks when we do our preview for next year. But yeah, so that was it. That was the last thing shown for the Game Awards. So I think, I mean, dude, honestly, a lot of heavy hitters, big show. There was a lot of stuff we didn't know about. Ken Levine game, Hideo Kojima game, fucking Final Fantasy 16. You got Armor Core 6, Diablo 4 was in there. Like, I mean, there was a lot of big shit in this. So Star Wars as well was in there, and then
yep,
Suicide Squad, another one. Like, I mean, dude, there was a lot of big trailers in this. A lot of release dates we got that we didn't have before. So I think this, in terms of what this was kind of like an E3 level show for me. What I would kind of expect out of like almost like a Sony show. Much longer than that probably, but there was a lot of trailers, and there was a lot more of that than I think the rest of the Game Awards show. It was very focused on games this time, in trailers. Not
Yeah,
nearly as
I think
much.
that's what people
Yeah.
that's how they get their views now. Like they know that
Hmm.
people are gonna come in for that.
Yep.
So I'm actually impressed with the. I did watch the Game Awards though, but I'm actually impressed with the presentation style. It seems more focused. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know. Like I said, some of the awards I didn't agree with, and I don't like the way they do their style of voting and everything like that because it can very much be botted and bugged and stuff. So I don't know. They have a lot of stuff to improve on, but it was pretty good though.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the Game Awards. We don't have any more news stories to cover today, so I think we're pretty much done for the episode, Montreal. Anything else you want to talk about?
And that's it.
Alrighty. Well, let's get out of here then. So, thank you guys for listening. If you like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at Thundernut01, and the show is at the Players Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01 at gmail.com. And that will be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next week.